The mic is hot, which means it's time to pass it. You're looking at the hostess with the mostest, with the no, we don't get ghosted, but we're the mostest, and we're the most loved, and we're the most entertaining. Welcome back to Pass the Mic with Jackson and Austin, our once in a while weekly occurring sports talk show where we talk about all the hot topics, where we pass the mic, it's call-in show, and we give you people the voice. Whatever you want to talk about, from March Madness to Deion Sanders' contract extension, whatever the happening news is, we talk about it on our bi-weekly show. And tonight we're bringing you a special one on a Monday night. But first off, I'm Forced Talk with Austin, and this is my good co-host, my best friend, and the man, the 500 subscriber man himself, and the host of the Jacksonian. You know him, you love him, Jackson Johnson of the Jacksonian. How are you, good buddy? And happy Monday.
Oh, happy Monday to you too, Austin. And it's the last day of March. Like we're on our way to April Fools. Although 21 minutes away, you're gonna have April Fool's Day in your time zone.
Yep. Eastern time zone. So just make sure to wear your green tomorrow, or if you don't want to get pinched. But speaking of
Oh,
green,
that's St. Patrick's Day.
But speaking of Green Jackson, there's a certain head coach out in Boulder, Colorado, who got plenty of green dinero coming his way. And yes, I'm talking about the one, the only, the GOAT, Deion Primetime Sanders, who got a 5-year, $54 million contract extension with Colorado. And Jackson, you know how much I love Deion Sanders and how my bias can sometimes bleed through with him. But I want to come to you first. What do you think of this, Jackson? Do you like it? Not like it?
Oh yeah. They gotta keep him happy, but although there's always gonna be somebody coming, whether it's the NFL or a bigger college than Colorado.
Mm-hmm. And Jared Thomas makes the point. Good move. He's made Colorado relevant again. That is very much true. I mean, because let's think about this, Jackson. What was Colorado before Deion showed up?
A crap show.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have Cedric the Entertainer come to Colorado Stanford before Primetime became the head coach.
Mm-hmm. And listen, I know everyone wants to kind of be he hasn't won a bowl game. He had one winning season. What has he done to earn this money? Here's the thing. If you look at the statistics of it, Colorado is one of the highest rated in ratings in college football the last 2 years. And that's been proven fact. Whether you like Deion Sanders or you don't, this man is a ratings getter. He's a drawer. Colorado's the most watched team in college football. I mean, that alone would earn him some money. Does Deion need to win more big games? Yes. Do we need to see him have sustained success? Yes. And I'm saying all this as a Deion Sanders fan. Like, if anybody knows me, I love Deion. I backed him even when they sucked. But
I can vouch for that.
Yes. But I also understand when you get paid that big money, you got to back it up now. There's no longer, if Colorado goes 5-7, there's going to be no more excuses. And Jackson, you know this as well as anybody, being an Alabama fan.
Mm-hmm.
When you get paid big money, you got to back it up.
Yes. Really back it up.
Yes. Like when Saban got paid all them big bucks, it was because they knew he could deliver them a national title year after year after year.
Oh, yeah. Agreed. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you got to prove yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah. To Bean's point, they were trash heap with Carl Durrell and a few other coaches. Dan Hawkins' era was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Thomas says they haven't been as good as they are since the late 90s, early 2000s days of Cordell Stewart and Michael Westbrook. I could not agree more. I mean, because like now they have like Travis Hunter winning that Heisman last season, and there's people debating about whether he deserved it or not. But still, though, it was pretty cool. But like BYU smacking them off the face of the earth, I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that was huge.
Yeah, that was kind of a bad look. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about Deion. Whether you like him or not, Deion, one thing I will always say about Deion is he gets the best out of his players. He creates better men. Like you see Deion and you've watched the film studies and he tries to prepare his players to be better men after college because not everyone makes the pros. Like that's the harsh reality of this, whether we like it or not. And that's what Deion's goal is to make those men grow up, be better men.
Oh
And he talks about his faith to God.
yeah,
And that's something I want to commend him for. This isn't a religious show or nothing, but as a believer in God myself, I I'm with Deion. Like he teaches men that God will be good to you if you are good to him and stay faithful. Now, if you don't believe in God, that's cool too. This isn't going to be a politician channel or religious.
or debate about the Great Pumpkin channel.
Yes. We're just making a good point about how Deion has faith in God and how he said rewards things.
Agreed.
But back to the football aspect of it. I mean, here's the thing. Deion was able to flip Travis Hunter from Florida State to Jackson State. And I know it's not at Colorado, but what other coach could do that?
I know, right? I mean, that's a win in of itself.
Mm-hmm. Like, and here's the thing. Realistically, Jack, let me ask you. Can Colorado win the Big 12 within the next 3 years?
Well, let me think. Yes, definitely. Absolutely. I think it can happen. And I'm going to be honest with you. And Babine brings up a really good point. The season opener against Georgia Tech on Friday, August 29th, that's going to be a great one right there. I'm already just thinking about that game already, Austin, because like I'm excited to see what Georgia Tech can bring and what
Mm-hmm.
Colorado can bring. And really, it was a good move moving it up to Friday, August 29th, because they
Mm-hmm.
know nobody's going to give a rat's behind about it on August 30th. Nobody's going to be thinking about that game. They're going to be thinking more about Bama, Florida State, or they're going to be thinking about a few other games on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you're going to have Ohio State, Texas. I mean, be real with me. Would you like if you had to choose between two? Are you thinking more about Ohio State, Texas, or Georgia Tech, Colorado?
Ohio State, Texas.
Exactly. That's why you move it up to Friday or
Mm-hmm.
move it up to Thursday night. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good move right there. And, you know, I want to see what Colorado brings in 2025. I mean, will it be better? Will it be a little worse? We're going to wait and see. We'll wait and see. I mean, it looks kind of cream puffy, so to speak. Because, I mean, like, we don't know really what to make of Houston. Although, to be fair, I could see some Kenny Dillingham vibes with Houston in 2025. I mean, the first year of the Kenny Dillingham era was a crap show.
Yeah.
Most of the games they lost, they were by more than double digits. Same with Houston last season in the first year of the Willie Fritz era. Not saying Houston's going to be like Arizona State, relax, but just saying they could be that surprise team.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the BYU rematch on 9/27, week 5. That's going to be huge. That'll be huge.
Mm-hmm. And Jared Thomas makes a great point. Deion Sanders is doing a little bit of what, here we go, Jackson, your favorite head coach of all time, of what Brian Kelly did with Cincinnati in the late 2000s. Cincinnati was not good
Well,
at all at that
well,
point,
I
but they
will give
became
him
elite.
I will give
Richard.
Brian Kelly this. He did win a lot at Cincinnati, but he could not win the BCS. But which I'm not going to give him crap for that at Cincinnati, but I'm going to give him crap for that at Notre Dame and LSU because, like, you're at Notre Dame, LSU. You're supposed to win those big games. But, it's like I had so much fun watching that Cincinnati Pitt game in 09, where it's like Cincinnati scores the game-winning touchdown, especially hearing Sean McDonough going, "Cut! Touchdown, Cincinnati!"
And I'll say this too, Jackson. Here's my thing about it, and to Jared's point. Now that Deion's got this big payday, next year for Colorado, what's the expectation? Other than bring great TV ratings, bring the celebrities, bring the money. Colorado should be what? Winning 8, 9 games every year, Jackson? That should be the expectation.
Yeah.
I mean, and Jared Thomas asked, but didn't Cincinnati beat either Utah or Miami in 08 or 09? I can't remember. Jackson, you're a historian more than I am.
Well, Cincinnati did. I don't think they went up against Utah in either one of those years. I remember they went up against Oregon State in 2009 in week 3. If you're talking about Miami, Ohio, yes, they beat Miami, Ohio. But if you're talking about Miami, Florida, I don't think they went up against Miami, Florida in 09 or 08 for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Utah went against Oregon State in 2008, which that was all week 6 on Thursday Night Football on the Versus Network. No, my Alabama, my bad. Yeah, Alabama lost to Utah in the 09 Sugar
Yeah,
Bowl.
I remember that now.
That
Yes.
was in the 4th season of the Kyle Whittingham era where Utah went unbeaten that year.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say this too. And also, Jackson, put the links in the chat if you'd like to call into the show, because this is a show for you, the fans out there. Fans, you can voice your opinion on this or our next topic coming up here in a couple minutes. We've got a couple topics that we're going to give our opinions on. You can too. But as far as this goes, Jackson, I mean, any other thoughts you want to give on it before we go to our next
I think
one?
like Deion Sanders staying at Colorado, I think it not only does a lot for Colorado, but it does a lot for the Big 12 as well.
Mm-hmm. And
It really helps them.
BB Nash Jackson, is Deion's contract too much, too little, or just right? Dollars and
Nah,
limit.
it's fine. It's fine.
Jackson's like, I'll say this: 5 years. I kind of like that.
He's fine.
Will you be talking about the tush push?
That is so dumb that people want to get rid of that. Like, my God, it's like,
well, let's talk about it now.
That's a crap sheet. That is a crappy move. Like, I'm gonna get rid of the tush push. I want to get rid of the tush push. Like, whatever. Whatever. Divas. Like,
I'll say this, Jackson.
A bunch of grown ass men wanting to get rid of a tush push. That's a diva move right there. Diva.
Here's the thing. Here's my thought on the tush push. Can it be dangerous? Yes. But it's also an effective play too. Because here's the thing, Jackson. If the Eagles weren't effective with it, nobody would say anything. That's the problem I have with it. It's because the Eagles use it to their advantage and are successful. People are like, we need to ban the tush push. We need to ban the tush push.
I dare those teams whining and crying about it to do the same thing. And if they do, they'll be like, oh, no, I don't remember complaining about it. We got Packers. Yeah, there's a reason why the Packers aren't winning squat. That's why, and no offense to Bills fans, but there's a reason why they come up short every single year because of stuff like that. Crime, like do what the Eagles are doing. Do what the Eagles are doing. And oh my God, can't. Yeah, of course, because Chiefs want to get like what 10 titles, like they're the Boston Celtics from the 50s and 60s with Bill Russell. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Well, I'll say this before we we get to our next topic, which you just saw it, but I'll say this with the tush push. The thing is for me, why,
Love it.
like you said, Jackson, only 10 Jackson.
We
That's
have
pretty good.
summoned the real MVP. Thank you for tuning in, good buddy.
Just because you brought the Chiefs up, Jackson, guess what? You
We have
got the real here. Good going,
yep,
Jackson.
we have
We-
summoned the real. Like, oh man. Um, let me see what else is gonna summon him.
Here's the thing. I'll say this with the
Chiefs
tush
will not get 20 straight titles.
push. Jackson, don't you start. We don't want to be up till 5 a.m. with him. But anywho, before my final thoughts on the tush push is here's the thing. You see the Bills, oddly enough, they do their own version of the tush push, right? And I
Mhm.
think the reason why they have sour grapes against it is because the Bills and a lot of their fan base thinks they got cheated on that fourth down play. You notice what I'm talking about, Jackson, against the Chiefs
Mhm.
in the championship game and the AFC title game?
Yeah.
I think that's why the Bills might have sour grapes towards it, which is understandable because when it seems like you finally have got the Chiefs and then the refs come and save them, you can understand being sour grapes.
I'm gonna
Now,
be honest though, like the Bills, they gotta stop using up all their energy. Like when going up against the Chiefs, they gotta stop using it all up on the regular season and just wait for the postseason to bring it all up.
and Jared Thomas makes a perfect segue. Browns made a mistake bringing in Deshaun Watson / trading Baker Mayfield. Well, and I got to give credit where credit's due. I got to give credit to my partner down here, Jackson, for bringing this topic to my attention. I had not seen this in the news or headlines, but Jackson, I'm glad you brought this to my attention because this needs to be talked about. This is the Browns owner admitting publicly to the world that he made a mistake trading for Deshaun Watson, a quarterback that they thought that was going to take them to the Super Bowl. Good buddy, I know you've got some thoughts on it. Take it away.
Oh man. The Browns screwed the pooch big time in 2022, like blowing all their draft picks. Like, oh, well, Deshaun Watson trade was a big swing and miss. Well, that's your own fault. That's your own fault. And guess who's going to be the fall guy? Not the GM, not the GM who traded for Deshaun Watson. We know who the fall guy is going to be. It's going to be exactly like the Colts and the Panthers, where it's like, well, it's not our fault. It's the head coach's fault. We're just giving them like the crappy end of the stick.
I
Same thing
mean,
with the Browns. Like, it's like, well, you got a quarterback who has never learned, who has really forgotten the term called keep your hands to yourself. And apparently it has not resulted in a playoff win. And when the Browns did make the playoffs, Deshaun Watson was hurt. Guess who had to bail him out? Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco had to bail them out.
mm-hmm,
Joe Flacco did.
mm-hmm.
But I can tell you this though, like Haslam has been notorious for making moronic decisions, making bad moves with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, I know he's like a big wealthy dude and all, but dude should just do everybody a favor, do everyone in Cleveland a favor, and just sell the team. Sell it to somebody who cares about that team, not to someone who just sees an NFL team as a toy that you play with. Like, I'm sick of these stupid damn owners just like treating their teams like freaking toys that you play with. I get it. You're wealthy. You're rich. You got like corporate America money. Okay. But here's the thing though, people are spending their money on your team, making sure that they see some wins. And you're not doing a good job, Mr. Haslam. And believe me, I could go on about several other owners in the NFL, but we'd be here all night, ladies and gentlemen. I just gotta
Here's
say, like Haslam is the one of the kings of dumbass decision making.
And here's the thing, too, Jackson. I normally I try to look at the glass half full. In before Deshaun Watson tore
That
his
cup is full
ACL,
of piss. That's the way I look at it.
but before Deshaun Watson got hurt, and before the he got in trouble for not keeping his hands to himself, Deshaun Watson was regarded as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and the Browns
And
thought they were a piece away from winning the Super Bowl. Because you look at it, they have Myles Garrett, who had his whole contract dispute, which we could get into that too in this process.
oh,
But
he's probably taking somebody's helmet off and bashing him with it when he's throwing a fit. But in all seriousness, though, Jared Thomas brings up a magnificent point. Baker Mayfield was a super young quarterback who showed potential. Should have been more patient with him. Yeah, agreed. As a matter of fact, he led the Browns to their first playoff win since the 90s. The freaking 90s.
mhm,
And agree, he's turning star. But the Browns, the moron leadership threw the baby out with the bathwater and decided, well, he was playing hurt 2021. Yeah, he helped us make some history in 2020, but nobody cares about 2020. So we're just gonna get rid of Baker Mayfield because he's not mature enough. He's not grown man material. So we're gonna trade all our picks, mortgage our future for Deshaun Watson. Yeah, well, karma's striking you in the butt, Cleveland, and you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it, Cleveland. And as for Baker Mayfield, keep kicking that butt in Tampa Bay. And did I forget to mention that when when he got screwed over at the Panthers. Like, things didn't work out for the Panthers, but hey, it's a blessing in disguise. He was signed off waivers at the Rams, but guess what? Matthew Stafford was hurt. Baker Mayfield's stepping up on Thursday Night Football with the Rams, and it
mhm,
worked out for him because he's now tearing it up in Tampa Bay, as Jared Thomas says.
mhm.
If I got a choose between Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson, I mean, yeah, Deshaun Watson's a great quarterback and all, but I mean, if you look back from his Clemson years and the first few years in Houston, but not playing a full year in
He
2020, like not 2020, 2021, and not playing most of 2022, you mortgaged your whole future for some dude that allegedly couldn't keep his hands to himself.
Here's the thing too, Jackson. And the thing is for Cleveland, they, in my opinion, still have a Super Bowl roster. In my opinion, and I know that may be a hot take, but when Chubb's healthy, when Garrett's right, they've got Denzel Ward back there at corner. The Browns have got some nice pieces, and I think they could go a long way in doing some good. I think they could be a Super Bowl contender if they stay healthy. The problem is they can't find a quarterback. And to the Baker situation, yeah, Baker was hurt, but here's the thing too. You also got to think, Jackson. He also didn't have an offensive line that year either. The Browns could protect a pile of money if they could. They could protect a parked car. Like, let's put it that way. But
Because they
like Baker
mortgaged
goes
their
to
freaking
Tampa,
future.
but Baker goes to Tampa, Jackson, and he proves all the doubters wrong. Because you remember, Jackson, there was a lot of people that said Baker would never be able to find another team. He would never be a starter in this league again. And what happens? He he took the Buccaneers to the NFC divisional round a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Go in this past year, won the division for the third straight year for the Buccaneers. Like Baker has found a system and a home where he can thrive. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Now, I want to see what Baker is now that his offensive coordinator is off to Jacksonville with the Jaguars. We'll see how much he regresses or doesn't. But I think Baker's a good quarterback. I like him. I thought the Browns threw the baby out with the bathwater, as you like to
Yes.
say. And the GM openly saying, Jackson, a big swing and miss, that is a
Um,
statement because this puts Jerry Jones to shame.
oh yeah.
Like Jimmy Haslam, you stepped in it now. You made your bed.
You
lying.
hired the GM that brought in Deshaun Watson, so that's your own fault, man. I mean, at least you're admitting it. I mean, I'll give you that, but
Hmm. And Jared Thomas says the Baker Mayfield situation reminds me a bit of what happened with Darnold. The Jets also took on a former superstar Rodgers who has been awful. Another case of the Jets thought they were a piece away at quarterback with all the talent that they have and still do have, and they thought, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to take us to the Super Bowl. Let's get you Devontae and Lazard, and everything's going to be happy in New York.
oh, the Jets
It's
are
not that
trash.
simple.
They're trash, unfortunately. I mean, they're worse than mid, and they're always going to be like that as long as they have that stupid owner, Woody Johnson.
But and here's the thing. Go for it, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. Because I think you and I talked about when it happened, Austin. Because I know there were like a few people saying, "Oh, well, the Jets are finally going to win." It's like, no, they're not. Okay, I mean, yes, the Bill Belichick era is similar to where the Greg Popovich era is going at this point, like at that time, and that was one of the things I stated because it was like the last years of the Belichick era feels like the last years of the Popovich era at the Spurs, where it's just like everybody's living
Uh-huh.
off the glory days, but they don't want to be like, we gotta move on to the Nets era. We're in the new day and all that. But it's like the Jets, you think they'll take advantage of it, but as long as they got a crappy owner and Woody Johnson, they're never gonna get past. It was the same thing with Brett Favre. They thought, oh, Super Bowl, we're gonna win, we're gonna win. Nothing. Zero zilch.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And Jared Thomas says teams just have to be more patient with their young QBs. Don't be so quick to just jettison. I can't say that word. Apology.
Jettison
Jettison a
a
young.
young quarterback before you have to. I mean, agreed. So some of
Well,
these
look.
teams just
Well, look for example, Jackson. Not to cut you off, but look at the Texans. C.J. Stroud. Him and Bryce Young are always going to be compared together, right? And here's the
yeah.
thing. C.J. Stroud year one, what he did with the Texans was spectacular. But Bryce Young, on the other hand, who the Panthers took the chance on at number one, kind of was dung heap. Now, not all of that was his fault. I do admit the ownership of Carolina is a bit sketchy, and I don't want to get Jackson started on the Panthers owner David Tepper because Jackson will go on a rant and he will not
Oh,
stop.
I've given up on Tapper. I mean,
Okay,
that,
okay.
that man
Well,
is like a fate worse than hell.
but you saw at the end of this year, though, Jackson, Bryce Young opened some eyes. He started playing some really good football. And maybe because he got benched and he got to learn behind Andy Dalton a little bit, which I know Andy Dalton's not Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, or even Tony Romo, that kind of level. But Andy Dalton was a really good quarterback at Cincinnati. He took Cincinnati to the playoffs a couple times. Didn't win nothing, but he took
Yeah.
them to the playoffs, won the division. So maybe Bryce Young learned and applied some of these tools, and maybe that's what's helping him. I feel like the Browns need to maybe take a page out of the Panthers book. Take take trade down and take maybe. I mean, if you're the Browns, Jackson, would you take a quarterback?
Yeah. I would have taken Justin Fields, but
I mean, that's the thing too. That I will say too on that too, Jackson, is Justin Fields, is he going to be the answer for the Jets? Probably not.
I
I
feel
mean,
like his NFL career somebody struck him with bad luck, honestly.
mhm.
Because I mean, you're blamed for everything at the Bears. Like everything wasn't your fault, but apparently it was. The Steelers, I mean, they're living off glory days. The Jets, I mean, it's hell. It is hell over at the Jets. They're never gonna do anything.
Mhm.
Never.
And
I agree because like I think like Marvin Lewis, like the way he states on it, he probably had some dirt on his bosses or something.
I mean, AJ Green Jackson was one of the best receivers for his time. You had Geno Atkins, you had Andrew Whitworth. I mean, you had Bernard, you had Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, a name from the past. I mean, the Bengals, they were, like you said, an underrated team. But like you said, the coaching, so. But, Jackson, speaking of coaching, there is some coaching news out of your neck of the woods. Some potential rumors starting from
Well,
Mr. Nate Oates.
well, for once, it's not gonna happen. He said no. It's a little late though, partner.
But this was the report. This was the report, and so Nate Oates has said no. So this becomes invalid.
Yep. And we're gonna
But what
see
do you think
Buzz
about
Williams
that,
go over the mill.
Jackson?
Huh?
What do you think about that, good buddy? That a team could potentially lure him away in the future.
I mean, if there's somebody like I mean, if he was gonna get lured away, Kentucky would have been the ones doing it, or it would have been North Carolina doing it.
I mean, here's the thing. Now, do you think there is some truth to this report that he might be frustrated with y'all's NIL support, though?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Like, he may have said no to the Maryland job, but go ahead, good buddy. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, I can see where he's frustrated.
Here's the thing. I mean, if Alabama continues to make Final Fours and Elite Eights, do you think the school will start supporting him a little more?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And Jackson, you gotta congratulations from Mr. Tim Prangley, Mr. USC himself.
Thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate it. Check out the Magical College show that he's got on LAFB Network where he takes your calls on the USC Trojans. Stay tuned for more.
Howdy, Mr. Tim. Congratulations on your new promotion. Look forward to checking it out. Always love your USC content, Tim. Because me personally, like, I know a lot about USC, but I don't know near enough as you, good buddy Tim. So I get my information from you. But speaking of get information, there's a certain somebody, Jackson. We have a returning caller. He's legendary. He's known for his love for the SEC. He's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. He loves us to death. But he drives me nuts being a Kentucky fan. The real MVP is here on Pass the Mic, and he's here to take the mic and drop a pipe bomb.
Well, hello, gentlemen, and congrats, Jackson, on 500 subscribers passing it. You're almost at 600 already, which is pretty crazy.
Well, I thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're doing a good job, so thanks, and hopefully, Austin, one day you'll get there. I know you just keep doing the hard work, and I'm sure you'll get there as well. Can I tell y'all something? First off, Deion Sanders deserves absolutely this contracting extension. I understand the hate for Deion Sanders. I don't like his arrogance or, his flamboyantness about himself. But let's be honest. You take away all that and the name, and you just put his record out there and his consistency. He's got to be, one of the 10 best coaches in the sport right now?
I mean, he's doing his part, keeping the Big 12 alive. I'll tell you that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would put him in the same tier as like a Jeff Brom at Louisville type. He takes mediocre to bad teams and raises them to contenders for their conference.
Oh,
And
Austin saw the latest edition of Crimson Tide Live today on Alabama Voice College Football, but I won't spoil it for you too much. But Darrell, I talked a little bit about Pruitt today, and I was talking about like the Tennessee coaching search from 2017 where Fat Phil screwed it up, where to the point where like Jeff Braun was saying no to Tennessee. I mean, do you know how bad you have to be if a top coaching candidate from Purdue says no to Tennessee? Like that is bad. That's bad.
Here's the thing too, and the thing about it too is Jackson, which you know this, and I'm sure Darrell knows this. Jeff Brom, he's always wanted to be here at Louisville. He's even said himself, we turned him down once before, and he went to Purdue because we wanted him to prove himself. So, like, I saw that, Jackson, and you're right. That's got to be pretty bad. But I also think part of it is too. Jeff Brom didn't want to go anywhere else. He wants to be here.
True.
Kind of like how Mark Pope wanted to be at Kentucky. Like Mark Pope wouldn't have taken any other job. In my opinion.
Don't let Phil Farmer run part of the athletic department on your end, Kentucky. That's all I ask.
I have no control of how long Mitch Barnhart stays at Kentucky. All I know, he is doing a great job with what we've got. Hopefully, he decides to get a new football coach after next year, because saw the over-under win total for Kentucky, 4.5. Not going to cut it for Stoops, I don't think, in the career this year.
Oh, you getting tired of Mark Stoops already, man?
I mean, we've had back-to-back disappointing seasons, and if we go 4-8, that'd be another back to it. I mean, 4 years, I feel like, is pretty long tenure in this age of, giving a guy a leash.
Well, if Kentucky is tired of Mark Stoops, can they snatch a Power 4 head coach? That's going to be the question, particularly someone from the ACC or Big 12.
I want to call a timeout real fast. And listen, this may sound crazy coming from a Louisville fan, but I'm going to stick up for Mark Stoops real fast. So, before Mark Stoops got to Kentucky, what was Kentucky football?
Okay, Austin, you're there.
What was Kentucky football before Mark Stoops got there?
Well, I mean, one notable thing they did do was end that 26-game losing streak against Tennessee in 2011 from 1984 to 2010. Mm-hmm. Other than
that, a 31-game losing streak against Florida.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kentucky was the laughingstock of the SEC. Like, let's be for real about it. Kentucky was the team, when you looked at your schedule, they were the cupcake. They were the team, we're going to mark this as a win.
I'm aware. I'm very aware.
Here's the thing, Darrell, and I'm not doing this to rag on you or nothing. It's to make my point that Stoops has done a lot for you guys, and you all should give him some more grace.
Well, I mean, I understand that, and he is, in my opinion, the best coach Kentucky's ever had for Kentucky. Now, I know Bear Bryant's probably the best overall coach, but a lot of that credit goes to what he did at Bama, not Kentucky. But I mean, we're paying him top 10 money. If we were paying him top 20 or 30 money, I wouldn't understand that. But also, it's just like, at a certain point, I feel like things just got to change for the sake of change. Because he's been there for, 10 years, 11 years now? It's been a while.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And again, in this new era, I think 4 years is a long time to give somebody a job. I think most teams are going to get 2 to 3 years, and we're giving him 4, especially with the amount of money. And I mean, we're not going to get anybody elite. I mean, we might get, I don't know who we even get. Maybe the Jamie Chadwell is a name, the Tulane head coach.
Liberty.
Oh, who's the Tulane?
You're thinking of John Summerall from Tulane.
John Summerall. He's been heavily rumored to be the successor of Mark Pope. So we might get him, and I think he wants the Kentucky job super badly. So,
well, and I got to interrupt for a sec on Tulane. It's funny though. Like 10 years ago, they were a trash heap in college football. Now they're kind of like the Boise State of the South these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. So my point with all this, I don't know how we got on Mark Stoops, but I think Deion Sanders deserves his extension. I think he's one of the 10 best coaches in the sport. I think Colorado is a perennial contender, as one can be in the Big 12, because it's a very volatile conference, and I think he absolutely deserves it. The Nate Oates to Alabama thing makes no logical sense to me. Alabama, I think, is just a better job than Maryland. I think it's just flatly better.
So here's my thing. if you're in NATO's shoes, let's put ourselves in NATO's shoes. I want to play devil's advocate. What does Maryland offer that maybe Bama doesn't? And that would be, a better basketball school. And they pay more attention to the basketball than they do their football. Whereas Alabama is more of a football school, and they put more NIL into that than they do basketball. Now, I know where Darrell's going to school me here, where Kevin Lillard, rumors were he left because Maryland wasn't giving up the NIL. I don't know how much of that's true or not, but if it is true, shame on Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I could see maybe NATO saying, this school cares about basketball more than Bama does.
Well, on the bright side, maybe Maryland can get Bill Murray's son to be the Nets head coach.
Yeah, the whole Maryland thing with Kevin Willard, that thing went sideways in a way that I don't think I've seen in a long time. Like, he basically ruined, from what I saw on Twitter. Now, again, I saw it on Twitter, so you can take it with literally the world's largest
Rumor
grain of
indie
salt.
window.
Right. But it seems like he was treating everybody like he was not just 1 foot, but 2 feet out the door. And it's like, well, if you're doing that when you're in the Sweet 16 for Maryland, that's not good for the infrastructure culture of Maryland basketball. Like, I don't know how much Maryland cares about athletics in general.
Well, here's my suggestion for them to get the Nets head coach. Get Luke Murray from UConn. And what's going to happen is you're going to have an automatic. You got an assistant coach who coached under Mr. Hurley, who got UConn 2 natties, and the son of Bill Murray. And I'm sure Bill Murray has some of the residuals left over from Ghostbusters, Groundhog Day. He's even got some residuals from the Garfield movie that he hated doing in 2004.
Here's my thing. What kind of situations this new head coach could be walking into is what I'm looking forward to seeing. Because the two biggest players, Julian Reese and Derek Queen, more than likely are going to be gone. Like, Reese is a junior and Queen's a freshman. But I think Queen is projected to be a top 15 pick in this upcoming NBA draft. And Reese, he may stay another year. I mean, it might be another Kentucky situation where you got to start all over again.
Well, and here's
ironic, the Louisville fans talking about starting all over again didn't mention their program.
Well, here's another benefit to having Luke Murray as your head coach. As I stated, not only have you got like Bill Murray potentially giving away, putting a lot of his money into NIL funds, because, I mean, let's be real, he's going to want to see his son succeed as a head coach, I mean, most like any father would for his son or daughter, And, also, we've looked at like Bill Murray, for those who don't know, like, besides the fact that he's an amazing actor and, he had a great appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience 5 weeks ago, which that was a damn good episode, by the way. He is a noted Chicago Cubs fan. And, he's sung like the Take Me Out to the Ball Game, like once in 1998, once in the 2016 World Series, humongous Cubs fan, loves the Bulls. Humongous sports fan. You want a guy like that making sure they spending his money on NIL funds. Like, I'm surprised nobody's called Bill Murray to be a team owner, honestly, because honestly, that's a guy I think should own a team in the sport world. I mean, if it was in a perfect world, he would be owning a team by now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't realize you were so high on Bill Murray. Jackson.
Well, I'm high on Bill Murray's kid being the Nets head coach of Maryland, and Bill Murray's one of the main reasons why.
I mean, that would be a splash higher. I mean, it'd be different. It'd be out there, but hey, I mean, I think Maryland just needs to have attention on their program. I think there's a real shot they just kind of fade into the abyss.
Luke Murray. That's why you get Luke Murray, Darrell.
Right. So now I kind of want to shift gears, if that's okay, into something a little similar, but a little different. Is the basketball tournament, March Madness. This year has been, listen, I think March Madness is my favorite sporting event the entire calendar year. The 4 days between the Thursday and Sunday is by far the best 4 days in any sport. But this year, let's be honest, guys, it was pretty bad. It was really bad in terms of like competitive games, not in terms of just scores, but upsets as well. We only had 3, maybe 2 actual upsets that occurred. There was no magical Cinderella run this year. There was nothing exciting that really happened. There was like one buzzer beater that happened. Are you all kind of disappointed in the tournament?
I'll say this real fast, Jackson, before you go. I've always said this, and I've been on record saying this. I think March Madness is the greatest American sports tournament that we've got today. There's nothing better in it, in my opinion. And Jackson, now you can go first on his question, good buddy. I had to get that out there.
Well, and I'll be honest too, where it's our buddy Dave Belansky was saying in the chat yesterday where he's worried about the state of March Madness and where it's going. I think it's just a one-off year. And besides, it's the second time in March Madness history that we've got all 4 1 seeds in the Final Four. That's not something you see every year. Now, as a Bama fan, I would hate to see our rival Auburn win it all. But then on the other hand, it would be good for the state of Alabama. It would be great for the state of Alabama. And also, anybody but Duke. For the love of God, anybody but Duke. We don't want to hear a thing about Cooper Flag. I mean, another personal against Duke, but it's just they win too much.
Here's my thing to your question, Daryl. Are these the 4 best teams left? I would say yes, but I could also make an argument, and you all may disagree with me. I think Texas Tech was the better team against Florida. I think Texas Tech should be here right now, but if close was, it would count hand grenades and horseshoes. But in my opinion, I feel like Florida got outplayed a couple different times in this tournament. They're the one team I would make a case for that do not belong here, because I can make a case they got outplayed by UConn and they got outplayed by Texas Tech. And I know Daryl may be a little mad about that because Florida is representing the SEC, but that's just my opinion. I think Texas Tech should be here. But as far as the other 3 go, Auburn, Duke, Houston, by far, yes. Florida's the only one I have a problem with. But to your overall question, Daryl, this tournament has been kind of lacking. I mean, BYU was kind of giving us a show for a minute, but then Alabama used all their 3-pointers on BYU, which thanks a lot, Jackson. Now we got to listen to Duke some more. But anywho,
don't blame it on me.
But I would say overall this has been a tournament.
Right. I don't know what they're going to take in terms of the one shining moment in terms of competitive, because the only thing that really happened this tournament was Clemson lost to McNeese. Colorado State lost at the buzzer. Colorado State, as a favorite, beat Memphis, and Drake beat Missouri. Outside of that, nothing of any interest really have. Oh, and Arkansas, I guess, beat St. John's.
They were Cinderella.
Yeah, I know. But Calipari, do we consider Calipari a Cinderella in any situation? I don't personally.
No.
This year he might have been, because he was able to pull that out of that team. A bunch of mismatch players. I mean, I guess not, since it's Calipari.
Right, but my point is that's basically the only 4 things of actual interest that have happened this entire tournament. It's honestly kind of astounding how few things have happened in this tournament when considering just how many games there are. And to me, people are freaking out over this tournament scene. Like, I saw Stephen A. Smith said this could be the death of the tournament. I saw, people worried that it's interesting in college football.
Stephen A's always freaking out about something, but he's hilarious.
That's true. But I just want to make this point. In college football, people are saying the portal is going to expand the field and add parity. Ooh. Meanwhile, in college basketball, it's shrinking the field and it's getting rid of parity. I don't think both those things can be true at once.
Here's the thing. If anything to real, it should be the opposite. Because here's the thing. As crazy as it sounds, let's say, for example, Daryl, the number one team in both sports. Let's take Ohio State and Florida, or Ohio State and Auburn. We put them up against the 16th ranked team in prospective tournaments. Who's more likely to get upset? Auburn, because there's a chance
Yeah, the
Auburn.
basketball team.
Yeah, in basketball. Yes, let me clarify. Basketball and football. There's a chance that Auburn could go cold from the field, and Norfolk State or UMBC could shoot the lights out, and Auburn's going home, whereas Ohio State would have to have a lot of things go wrong for them to lose to the 16th ranked team.
I completely agree with you that. I agree with Jason O in the chat as well. I hope this tournament kills expansion talk for at least a year.
Mhm.
Why are we expanding the tournament to 76? I mean,
Why
we
play
don't
the
need
regular
60.
season then?
Right.
If we're just going to do that. Like, not to cut you off, Daryl, but it's just like, it's frustrating because win your damn games. Pardon my language. Win your dang games. Like, stop complaining about being the 88th best team and thinking, oh, we need a shot. We need a shot. Well, win your dang games, okay? Then you get a shot. Go ahead, Daryl. My apologies.
No,
Okay.
you're completely justified and valid in your opinion. I just think this goes to show you that in terms of, this is one of my favorite arguments, is this slippery slope's never ending. We'll expand to 76 and then 99. We'll expand it to 88 and then 99 and then 128. It's all we do is expand. We never contract. But something else I was going to mention to you about is in terms of the tournament is, Tennessee. I was on here last week and I said Kentucky was going to beat Tennessee. And I was wrong. And I guess all the Tennessee fans can laugh at me and brag about how they made their national championship first game, which is the Elite Eight.
But on the bright side, Darrell, there's one thing to remember. Alabama and Kentucky and Auburn and Florida get to have the last laugh on the Tennessee Volunteers. I mean, 15 points in the first half alone. Like, yeah, you're not making it to a Final Four balls.
Do you think it was a chance Tennessee just thought, oh, this is the last game of the season because they don't know what a Final Four is? Because they've never been to one, do you think?
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing. It could be Houston's the best defensive team in the country, too. I mean, them boys had them in a box, clank, lock.
You don't have to defend the Vols anymore. They screwed you out of your bracket, good buddy.
Here's the thing.
Did you see that video Uncle Lou uploaded where the two Tennessee players ran into one another? I don't think that was the Houston defense on that play, Austin.
Listen, Daryl, I know you're reveling in this, and Jackson, as you can see, is laughing his head off. I'm trying to make myself feel better for picking Tennessee to go to the Final Four, okay?
That's a rookie mistake. Never pick Tennessee to win.
Advice for next year. Don't pick Tennessee to go to the Final Four next year.
Obviously.
Tennessee, man, I'm almost happy we lost to them because, if we would have beat them, we wouldn't have had this gift given to us. I mean, this is Christmas to all of us. All the fans on Twitter, I'm sure you know this, Jackson, when Tennessee beats Bama, they thump their chest and say, you guys stink. You guys are trash. And then they'll repost and say, this guy's wrong. Man, all them Tennessee fans are quiet after that Houston game. Not after it. In the first half, they were quiet. You couldn't find a Tennessee fan. I think the entire state of Tennessee was on an Amber Alert. MIA. Have we still found them, Jackson? My goodness.
Oh, man.
Do we know where Zakai Ziegler went, by the way? He had 5 whole points in that game. 5 whole points.
And yet he's so great.
I know, he's so great. He's plus minus 18.
To Bean, Jay Snow, you think I really have a sister laugh now? Wait until you hear me doing the Joker laugh from Mark Hamill.
listen to all my Tennessee faithful out there, to all of our Tennessee fans.
Go away. We don't want you.
Don't listen to Darrell. Okay, Darrell is not a part of the team. We love you, Tennessee, but
No, we don't.
Get out, Tennessee. Get out. Good
Hey.
question from Lucas Hill at Inside the Huddle. That is a good question. Do it anyway. Do it anyway.
Yeah, the NCAA just continues to be somebody who steps on a rake and then that rake hits himself in the face, and they're like, "Oh, I wonder what happens if I hit it. Do it the same thing." Yeah, I mean, this is the most.
That's so funny, Darrell. You just had me thinking about one of those Tom and Jerry cartoons where Tom does exactly that.
Right. I mean, this is such an easy win for the NCAA. I mean, I can see literally no downside to this. Both teams want to play. The coaches want to play it. The players want to do it. The fans would enjoy it because we'd actually watch it. You know, it's something interesting. I hope this guy's right. I hope this is correct. The NCAA is done by the end of the decade, or they actually became like the NFL, where they have statutory protections to where they are.
Go on, Darrell. It's okay.
So I hope they have statutory protections if they're still around. That way, they can actually enforce rules and stuff without having to be afraid of being sued. But if they can't, I hope they just go away and the playoff committee or whatever takes over and says, this is the way we're doing things.
Here's what I do. I would just, if I'm Syracuse and Colorado, I'm just acting like I'm obeying the NCAA. But then when the cameras aren't looking, I'm just going to do what I want to do anyway. Do that little scrimmage. Do what I'm going to do.
I'm watching.
Exactly.
Would you watch it, Jackson?
Yes, definitely. Absolutely.
I don't know where Colorado or Syracuse are televising their spring game, but I don't think it's on ESPN because, we got to see pickleball or badminton or baseball.
Eventually that's what ESPN's going to do is like, because they treated the Major League Baseball like trash. So they're going to be like, oh, here's some programs for this summer. We only care about, the SEC football teams. We only care about the NBA. We don't care about NHL. We don't care about MLB. We don't care. We're just going to dump the MLB on somewhere else. Oh, we might as well air pickleball. It's like, why are we not making enough money? Because you think everybody wants to watch pickleball and you ran off the MLB, morons.
No. I'm so shocked those cricket viewers aren't just translating into millions and millions of people.
Oh, man, that's so funny. Sounds like he's running for third. I would not want to be president. That's too stressful. Like, good God. I'd hate to be president.
Well, and you all saw this too. Mike Gundy suggested we have spring bedlam.
He just does not care about the bedlam rivalry, does he?
Like, Jackson, I know you at heart is dying on the inside hearing that because you want to see it played on the football field, not in spring.
Yep, Mike Gundy, get out. If you keep having crappy seasons in Stillwater, I'm going to tell you, get out.
I'll tell you what, that was my favorite. One of my favorite storylines from the Big 12 is all these Oklahoma State fans talking about hyping themselves up just to go 0-9 in conference play. That was great to see. They were talking about how they got Ollie Gordon and how they got an elite head coach, and turned out they were complete trash. I mean, embarrassing trash.
Mm-hmm. Well, Darrell, you ever watch Locked On Oklahoma State with Cody Stovall?
I've seen him a few times.
He's a cool dude, and he's one of the guys that's very logical, because like I remember where it's like I've had a couple conversations. I've had him on a couple times on the Jacksonian where he's been like one of the few Oklahoma State people that's been like, look, you're way too high on Mike Gundy, way too high on the Gundy era.
Yeah, he's an 8-4 head coach.
Yeah, I mean, because like you could hide behind the fact that, oh well, Nebraska's in the Big 12, life is hard. Oh well, Texas, Oklahoma, you're sharing the South Division with them. You're sharing the South Division with Mike Leach at Texas Tech. Guess what? Nebraska, Colorado leave for different pastures. Okay, Oklahoma State wins Big 12, but Texas A&M, Missouri, they leave. But guess what? You still have to deal with Texas, Oklahoma. Texas, stinking pile of trash. Oklahoma, they're always contending. And, several years later, Texas, Oklahoma, like, you know what? We're going to leave for greener pastures named the SEC. We're going to the SEC. Oklahoma State, now's your chance to take over. And like you said, Darrell, what do? They stink it up, go 3-9. Stink it up by going 3-9. And then you got what are you gonna do in 2025? You're gonna go 8-4? You're gonna go 9-3? What are you gonna do? Like, I mean, 2025 may be your last chance, Mike Gundy.
I honestly don't like. I haven't heard much hype around the Oklahoma State program, and usually that's not a good sign going forward into the year. Like, you hear all the Penn State, Texas, those type programs, like Utah last year, hyping themselves up. I haven't heard a single Oklahoma State fan out there, so I'm not expecting much out of them. But you never know in the Big 12. I mean, the Big 12 is just such a general dumpster fire that anybody can win that trash can of a conference.
Well, I'll tell you this, I can't wait to see what Squidtard has to say about them. Like bro is like the urinating tree of college football. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, you want to see some hilarious dudes on YouTube? Urinating tree is hilarious, and so is Squidtard. Because like they're like eerily similar, and I'm here for. I think like Squidtard called quite a few times on The Voice of College Football. Then went on to go do bigger, better things on his own channel. He's doing pretty good. Good for him. We got another caller. We got Sean Garner. I believe his voice is feeling really better. How are you doing tonight, good buddy? How's your voice?
Oh, it's quite a bit better. It's 100. It's a million times better than it was last night. But I'm still feeling the ill effects of the changing of the seasons. My white ass isn't ready for this.
Do we think it has to do with you, like, you haven't shaved your beard in a while, and then once you shave it, you started losing your voice? Do we think there's a connection between those two things?
Oh, I mean, almost indisputably. Like that.
That's what I was thinking.
Did you shave
every correlation does equal causation after all.
Yes.
You shaved off that mustache, Sean?
Yeah. Yep. It's kind of growing back. I need to get on it tomorrow. Whack off the part between my the mustache area tomorrow too.
You're looking like you time traveled in 1600s Pennsylvania, man. I love it. You're like a modern version of it. Oh man. So there's one other topic that I was thinking about. So you know how Christmas Day is a sacred tradition for NBA basketball?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
What's like Christmas Day may just be an NFL tradition.
Yeah. That's capitalism, baby. You just like when you're the biggest bass boy on the planet, you just encroach on everybody else's territory, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, it's not just that. It's the NBA has really done a bad job marketing themselves, and like, if the players don't care about the game, then why should I care? Like, there was a Nuggets, and I know Austin's a big Nuggets fan, so he'll know what I'm talking about. There's a massive Nuggets-Lakers game on Christmas Day a few years ago where, like, Jokic was out, LeBron was out, Murray was out, and everybody was out for that game. And if the players aren't playing on Christmas Day, the star players, why would I watch it?
Yeah.
If the players don't care, why would I watch it?
Well, I remember,
and in all honesty, like it should matter more in the NFL because that's like the end of their season. That's like the nitty gritty. You can have.
Oh,
where'd Sean go? Where'd he go?
Just got.
There we go.
Into the void.
Settings are doing the mess around. Come on back, Sean. Come on back. Come on in.
But to Darreel's point, though, So
There he is.
I have no idea. That has never happened to me. That little screen that I got when
No,
we had booted
clearly
me
what
here.
happened was you started talking about capitalism, and then
Yeah.
you just got Thanos.
Oh,
Right.
yes. I forgot what era we live in now.
Yeah.
Right, you can't talk about that type of stuff now.
Sorry, Elon. Sorry.
oh boy.
So anyway, the NBA, like what? I don't know why, but it's like the 2019 Christmas Day game. I remember watching like a Lakers game, and I saw like Alex Trebek was there. I was like, wow, I didn't know he was a basketball fan. Nice. I thought that was pretty cool. That's one of my favorite NBA Christmas Day moments. Kobe Shaq going against one another. That's one of my all-time favorite Christmas Day
Yeah.
moments. But the NFL on Christmas Day, because like I feel like we're gonna see it on Netflix again. Like honestly, we're gonna see like what's gonna happen is I feel like we're gonna see a game on Amazon Prime and we're gonna see a game on Netflix. Because I mean, like, why do you think Netflix is doing like some of these mass cancellations on some of the good shows like Inside Job? Like, why the hell would you cancel a good show like Inside
See,
Job?
I'm wondering, like, I don't know what day of Christmas falls on this year, but if Christmas falls on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, can you really, and like there's no buys the week before, can you really schedule an NFL game?
Oh, it falls on a Thursday.
Okay, so
It
a
falls
Thursday.
on December 25th.
God.
Again?
I know this is shocking news, but
Wow.
it falls on December 25th.
Oh my, jeez.
Well, so like
No, but like,
Netflix-
yeah, like I'm saying, like Christmas Day, like the years that it falls on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, I guess probably the NBA will probably be safe. Every other year.
Well, like the whole thing about like NFL and Christmas, and I talked about this with Nathan Brown from College Football Mafia, that the reason why I think that like we see like Netflix canceling all these really good shows, what like Inside Job and like the one with Jason Bateman and a few others, like the reason why we see them doing that is because they're cutting costs, they're saving money. They know damn well that they got to do something. They got to do something. I mean, hell, they even cut their like Simpsons equivalent of Netflix, Big Mouth. They cut that show off, which that tells you one thing. They are planning on getting an NFL TV contract, and they are going to take it from CBS or Fox or. So they're not taking it from ESPN. They're not going to do that. They're sure as heck not taking it from NBC. And what's going to happen is they're going to take it from Fox or CBS. It's the same exact thing that happened in the early 90s. Fox didn't want only be known as the network that aired Al Bundy and Homer Simpson. So what they need to do be taken seriously. They needed to air professional sports. And what was the perfect sport to air? NFL football. So not only do they like scrounge up enough money, make sure they got enough loans, bet all their life savings on getting an NFL TV contract, they wanted to make sure they were taking it from NBC or CBS. What did they do? They did the impossible. They took it from CBS, and to do you one better, they took Pat Summerall and John Madden to be the number one commentating team. And I'm going to tell you right now, the NFL on Christmas Day tradition on Netflix. That's what's going to happen. You're going to see the NFL take TV contracts from either CBS or Fox. You're not going to see NFL on one of those networks in like the next 4 to 5 years. You're going to be, because they know like Amazon Prime's beating them. So they got to beat Amazon Prime to the game. They got to make sure they got NFL Netflix. Netflix going to win this, and they're going to be taking a few conferences in college football with them. Oh, you were saying, John.
And here's the thing, too, that I'll say to this, is one of the things is, too, we live in a world now where, like the NBA Cup, like Adam Silver's idea to kind of spice things up, make the regular season seem more important. Well, Amazon Prime swoops in and says, okay, we'll take it now because they want it. And it's like, we live in a world, too, where Netflix, like you said, Jackson, is cutting costs for all this and stuff as well. You also got to think, too, you've got the Peacock app, you've got Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and you got to think, too, Jackson, we live in an era, too, where you also have all these other sports and different things going to these that were normally on networks going to the app and subscriptions. And we're in a changing world, Jackson, where pay-per-view people used to pay $50 to watch a wrestling event. Now they can open up the Peacock app and watch it for just $9. That's the world we live in now.
Like some people would rather watch the game on the
So
toilet.
wait. So like WrestleMania and Royal Rumble now you can watch that on Peacock for $9.
Yes.
Yep. Wow.
Yep. And that
would have been helpful to like 11-year-old Sean.
Yes, but
not that helpful to present day Sean. So
that's one of the things too. Like, and I know you all might have seen this, but like Netflix, they just recently bought the rights to have Monday Night Raw on their account, and that's probably where a lot of that cost cutting, because they want football, they want wrestling, they want it all. And here's the problem: not everybody can have it all. Like, I know, like Peacock has a deal with the Big Ten where they have to show one exclusive game, right? And like Notre Dame, people were complaining about, oh, why is Notre Dame Louisville a Peacock exclusive? Well, it's a part of the brand deal. And like a lot of Ohio State fans, Sean, when y'all played Michigan State, they were upset that was a Peacock exclusive game, because a lot of Ohio State fans don't have that. But it's part of the Big Ten agreement.
Yeah, it's part of the. Yeah, I mean, like if you have to deal with like one game a year being slightly inconvenienced, it's cry me a river. Go to a bar or something.
This is why the SEC is better. This is why it just means more down here. We don't have to deal with all that crap. We can watch your team every week without paying subscriptions and stuff. We're not subscription model. That's what poor conferences do.
Oh God!
What lesser conferences do. Lesser conferences.
But I mean, like they have to do it there because half the people barely have electricity in there, so they
Well, the Big Ten has to do it because half their teams nobody watches, so they just figure, oh, we just might as well throw it on a streaming service just to get some numbers. If it's in the void, who cares? Maybe somebody will watch and pay $10.
Yeah. I mean, Purdue fans are going to find a way to watch their team, right?
Oh, maybe all five of them will find a way.
I'll watch one of the games on TV. I'll watch a game on my laptop. I'll watch a game on my phone. I mean, it's like I'm going to make sure of that.
And here's the thing, too.
I'm not paying any amount of. I'm not paying $5 to watch any game. I don't care if it's Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, Michigan. I'm not paying $5 to watch a standalone game. I'm good. Thank you. No, I'm not watching it. I'm going to watch a game where I can flip between like 4 or 5 different games on the TV. I don't care who's playing it.
That's the thing too.
If Ohio State and Texas was available solely on Netflix, right there, and you had to watch.
Different. I have Netflix. If I had to pay,
but let's say Netflix like put that game behind a special paywall where you had to pay $5 to watch it. You're not paying.
I'm not paying $5. I'm not paying $5 to watch one college football game. I'm not doing that. I don't care how good
I don't believe you. I think I could come up with a scenario that would absolutely break your hypothesis.
I have never paid for a game. I have never paid to watch a game ever, except if it's on Netflix like last year's thing and I already have it, I'll flip it on there. But I've never paid to watch any streaming. Why would I pay for it when I can watch 3 games and then 15 minutes? Someone like Matthew Loves Ball or Wheels or something like that is going to have the highlights. And I can watch the extended highlights and basically know what happens.
So I want to bring this up real fast. The Big 12, they've got a deal with ESPN Plus where they have to stream one game, at least like a certain amount of games on ESPN Plus for basketball and football too. And for basketball, a lot of times, like this past year, they had Houston, Kansas on ESPN Plus on a Saturday, and people were mad. They were like, because Kansas, Houston, that's a premier matchup, a potential Big 12 title game if they meet in the tournament, which they didn't. Kansas was complete, but people were upset that they couldn't watch it. Whereas you said Daryl, Kentucky, Tennessee is on ESPN, ESPN2, or the SEC network, and you can watch it. The Big 12, that they're going to make you pay to watch Kansas, Houston, or the Peacock going to make you pay to watch Ohio State, Texas.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm arguing with the people in chat that don't understand this concept. Or maybe I'm just the odd one out. Listen, Kentucky's been on ESPN Plus when they've played like Southern Miss, Ohio, and those level teams. And you know what I do? I just go on iHeartRadio, put the guys on like KSR on, put my AirPods in, and then I'm watching some other game. I'm not paying to watch a game ever. Now, I'll pay for ESPN or Fox because I'm getting a collection of like 60 or 70 games. That's different than buying one single game.
Well, I personally, like for me, I won't mind having to use the Peacock app, the ESPN Plus app, and a few other apps. Because but I'll use it because it's literally my job, because I'll do it, but I'm not gonna ask anybody else to do that kind of stuff. It's like I'm not gonna do that, people. It's like no.
I'm trying to understand, Hummus here. What do you mean by this? How is my thinking wrong? If I'm paying because Ohio State Northwestern's on Peacock, and I don't care about anything else on Peacock, what else am I paying for? I'm not gonna watch the other crap on there. Like some people like that stuff, and that's fine. You all can do whatever you all want to do, but I'm just telling you from my experience and what I value. I'm not paying to watch one game.
Here's the thing. Here, let me call a timeout and see if I can't get Hummus's point a little more across to you, Daryl. So what he means by Peacock is they give you variety options. On Peacock, they have a thing where you can watch 4 games at once. Because I've got the Peacock app. I've had it for a long time. Where you get the Octo Box, where they take you through, especially during college basketball season. They give you the Octo Box where you can watch Northwestern Ohio State. You can watch this, and they take you through the live coverages. You can pick out a singular game. Whereas pay-per-view, you're stuck with one game and you have to watch it, and there's run times on it. Because pay-per-view, if you go over, the satellite dish cuts it off. Like, I've experienced that myself. But I digress. Whereas Peacock, they got the Octobox, and there is no runtime. You can watch it as many games as you want at once.
Okay, so it's similar to YouTube TV in the way you can watch 4 games at once. But is it?
Yes.
From my understanding of Peacock, it's affiliated with NBC. So they're not showing like Fox and ESPN and that stuff on there. So you can only watch can you watch 4 good games at once? Is that even possible?
I could.
I know you could, Jackson, because you would watch Navy, Ohio, and consider that a good game. You're a degenerate. God bless you.
Jackson, your opinions no count here.
Oh.
You're just built different, Jackson, okay? You're built different than everyone else, and you just got to recognize it.
Ohio State versus Toledo would be a good game to you.
Right. So my point is I can just have a cable subscription. I could flip through like 5 games, see which one's not a commercial, watch it, and I'm not paying to watch that specific game. I'm watching to pay for the entire bundle through the entire season. Whereas if a Peacock, I'm paying for that specific set of games for the month. And then I got to pay.
But I would question this: like, have you paid like $5 for anything that gave you like less value, less entertainment than you would from a football game or a basketball game? I'm pretty sure you throw $5 away on the regular. Just
the shot get cut out again. He's talking bad about capitalism, Sean. You can't be doing that, man.
So
anytime I start talking about money,
come on over, Jim.
Here's my idea for the Peacock. It's like
I got steaks, hot dogs. I'll be grilling. Potato salad. I'll cook you up a nice meal and we'll watch the USC game together on Peacock.
So maybe I don't understand. How many games does Peacock show per week?
They probably show like 4.
Okay, so my point is when I have cable, I can watch the Big Ten Network, the SEC Network, the ACC Network, Fox, NBC, CBS, ABC, and the ESPN games. So why would I rather not just pay for that? I know it's more money.
Here's my idea. So you've heard of the USA Network, right?
Yes, I have the USA Network.
So if you don't want to spend money on Peacock games, like games that are on Peacock, what if like the games that are the Peacock only games were also on the USA Network?
I'd be fine. I would watch it because I could flip through it easily and it's part of my catalog subscription. My point with this whole thing is I'm not paying extra additional money on top of what I'm paying to watch Ohio State, Ohio, or Kentucky, Toledo, or South Carolina versus Jackson State. That's the only thing I'm saying. Why would I pay an additional money to only see one or two games? That on at the end of the day, I probably don't really. They're not like high level games even in the first place. It's usually crap teams playing.
Well, I'll say this. Like, I don't know if there's any like college football documentaries on like Peacock. Like I'm sure there is, but I know that's what they have on ESPN Plus. They got like some of those Saturdays in the South documentaries. So, I mean, it's like that's
but so
awesome.
SEC Network has those as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let me interject real fast, Daryl. So we're all self-admittedly a basketball junkie here. When the three of us are, Daryl, Jackson, and me. I won't speak for Sean, but like Alabama, Purdue, that was on Peacock this year.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, Purdue, that was a Peacock exclusive game. And Daryl, you were talking about how those games, those for basketball, those were big time impactful games. Those were important. But I get your point too, Daryl. Don't get me wrong. I have Dish Network here at my house, and I much prefer that than having to watch it on a tiny phone or a computer. I'm with you. I would rather watch it on the big screen TV and just have the remote and flip through.
Right. Well, it's just the seamlessness that matters more than the screen size to me, and also the volume. Because I'm not just paying for Peacock because I want to watch something else. So I'm going to have to pay for that subscription. And then I'm going to have to pay for another subscription. By the time you pay for all the subscriptions to watch everything you want to watch, you're going to be paying more than cable. Or basically the same.
And on top of that, you have the cumbersome responsibility of having to remember to cancel.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you got to remember your passwords and all that stuff when logging in. It's a whole hassle. Where instead I just hit a button, I flip, and then I click it, and then I'm at the next game. And if that game's a commercial, I go to the next one, and so on and so on. So I'm never actually watching commercials.
No. That is something they have to figure out if they're going to make streaming a thing for sports. Is to make it like portable so you can get in and out of the app smoothly. Because if you can't do that, then I agree. Like, I mean, like the times I've watched any games on any of these apps, it's been kind of a pain. Like, and sometimes more than kind of a pain.
Yeah.
Right, and I'll watch ACC Network and ES Plus and SEC Network Plus because you get those for free. But even when I put it up on my laptop and start streaming it, it like buffers all the time. It's slow. The commentary's horrendous because you can tell they're just paying like college students to do it who really don't know anything. So I don't think the effort is even there for it to justify the additional price. It's honestly like, I don't know, Sean, if you watch baseball any or softball or lacrosse or the sports.
I do watch lacrosse, but I'm a huge college wrestling fan. So I watch like every single dual meet, Big Ten Plus they have there. So I mean, like, yeah, I know the amateur quality you're talking about. Like, it's just
it's honestly to the point where sometimes I just mute it and just don't. I'll just have something else on the TV and I'll just look over and see like a live scoreboard update.
So let me ask you guys this: what with all these streaming services and all these things? What's the last true full game you all have watched with commercials?
Okay, hold on. I want to respond to Hummus because he's attacking Kentucky. Listen, you can't attack my state like that, bro. I remember Ohio State Purdue when that was a Peacock game, and there was restaurants in Ohio showing that game. And Corey Brada was talking about how he was in a restaurant and he saw 4 different parts of the play happening because every TV was buffering. So it's not just the Kentucky in the South has no internet thing, bro, type thing. It's no, these streaming services need to upgrade their quality.
Yeah,
But
it's
sorry,
almost
Sean,
my
what was your
state.
question?
No,
Austin?
they absolutely do. No, I mean, like it's that's for sure. They need to upgrade so many parts of the production. Oh, yeah, there was one time I remember they in the Ohio State Purdue game I was watching because it's one of the few times I watched Peacock. It was on a review, and the review was taking a really long time, and they only had one angle. And somehow I'm the only one on camera right now. I hope you guys are all there. But they only had one. They only had one. They kept playing the same replay over and over and over again because I think they only had like one angle to show it from.
Oh, that's that. Not to interrupt you, Sean, but that's with a lot of sports. Like they take too much time with that sometimes.
But it's not. I mean, not like the time they take is the time they take. But like on more professional broadcasts, like they at least find a way to fill that dead air time.
Right, Sean's saying they'll show you like 3 or 4 angles usually, and they'll talk about and say, well, if you piece this part of the play together in this angle, you can see it was a catch or wasn't a catch. Meanwhile, from what it sounds like based on Sean's experience with Peacock, they only had one replay, and it's like, well, this is what we got. I guess we're going to fill. We don't have anything else to talk about. That's my interpretation of what Sean was describing.
Yeah, that was it. And it was, I mean,
perfect example. I know what you're talking about, Sean, because I experienced this watching Louisville Notre Dame. So there was a play in the game that they went to review for a fumble, and they only showed one angle of it, and they were like, "We'll step out for 30 seconds and come right back." And I'm like, you're just going to show me this one little angle that looks like he fumbled, but it also looks like he didn't. Like, you're not going to show me the other 3, and then they come back and they're like, it was not a fumble. It's still Notre Dame ball, and they showed the same angle again, and I'm like, that doesn't give me no answer. So I know your feelings, Sean.
Right. I mean, like if you're going to broadcast these sports at a big time level, you have to like put big boy like money into the production.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
they have.
I guess Homeless Hero just has internet that's just far superior to everyone else's, including all content creation people. I guess he's just got that Elon Musk, Donald Trump type money where he can just have instantaneous access to everything, like he's on Space Force One. So we can't compete with that, Hummus. I'm sorry. Us plebs down here, we just don't have. We're just not built like that.
No. Hummus is from I think the same part that I was born in, and I think that's we just got priced out like that Southwest Ohio area. Mm-hmm. It just got too much for us. It was too high class. That's why we moved north.
And these broadcast things need to be accessible for everybody.
Yeah,
and I think there's still like 10% of the USA. It may be a little less now that don't have internet at all, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I don't know if Jackson's been parts of Alabama, but I've been in parts of Kentucky before where there is no internet. There's no cell phone service in parts of Kentucky.
I've been past some of those areas in Bama where there's like no internet service.
That's
where I'm like a mess. I'm like
there's definitely parts of Michigan you get up there and it gets really, really spotty. Like you get north and kind of the middle of there, or you get into the UP. That is that's kind of no man's land out there.
See, I live out in the middle of nowhere because I'm in Kentucky too. Spoiler alert. Like I live on a farm, so I got cows, chickens, horses, all that good stuff. Dogs, cats.
Oh my God! You didn't tell me you had horses. How often do you get to ride the horses, man?
Well, they're all retired now, Jackson. One horse is 32 years old and one's 25. They're old horses. But
horses live that long?
Yes.
Hey, well, nice.
Oh, that's
cool. Horses in Kentucky is just a common thing you see. Like you'll see a horse in Kentucky and you'll just get used to it.
See, Sean, if you didn't know that horses in Kentucky are meant to live longer, whereas in Ohio they may die at 9. No,
I can't wait to meet those horses. Man, that's gonna be cool.
But in all seriousness, though, to your all's point, though, the cell service sometimes I could, like right now, I've got fine service, but I could go outside and stand in the middle of my yard and I get no service. It doesn't make any sense. Or I can go right down the road and get perfect service. It just doesn't make
It's
any
not
sense.
that bad where I'm at, but I've been to places like that, Austin, where you're at. So I have a few places. Like I'm sure Jackson's had this where you're in towns that are literally just cookie cutter towns where the first biggest building is the church and the second biggest building is the school.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've been places that remote before. And then they've got like one grocery store that's like Tom's or Tim's grocery store or something like that. And they serve like bread and cheese and just very basic stuff.
Oh man. Well, I know about the French and Indian War. It lasted from 1752 to 1765. I could have the years wrong, but I'll double check.
Mm-hmm. And let me say this though, to kind of put a bow on this whole sports finagling streaming services. I mean, do you think it's made the sport overall better? Let me ask you guys that. Has it made the sport
No.
better?
Mm-mm.
No,
Not to this point. It hasn't.
Okay.
I think it's been a net negative up until this point. It could develop and become something that really adds a lot to the sport, but at this point, no. The games that are on streaming services are basically dead weight, and I mean, it's bad for the consumer to have to like ask them to spend more money and put it on this. The one thing I do like from the streaming services, the only thing I like so far is the all 22 version of the Prime football games. That I really enjoy.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, they show those for the college football playoff games, and those are really
Oh
cool.
yeah. Well, I mean, I okay. Yeah. I watched the Sky Cam for the
They show
Notre
that
Dame
too.
game.
They show the Sakai Cam, the all 22. They show a bunch of different variations. They'll show like a Georgia sideline version and Georgia radio, and then an Alabama version with an Alabama radio. So they got. So I know what you're talking about. That is really cool.
So there is a lot of possibility. There's a lot of potential with the streaming services. I'm not going to like poo-poo it and say it's just a terrible idea altogether. But what it's
So-
provided so far, I would say is probably a slight net negative.
Mhm. So we've got some
The way-
breaking news real quick I'd like to share. Breaking news on Hunter Dickerson. He has been granted a 7th-year waiver.
What? Of course. Why wouldn't he?
And he will enter the transfer portal this fall. So, with that being said, what's our thought on this breaking news in this either wee hours of the morning, early morning, or wee hours of the evening?
Well, let's
When does Hunter
Get
Dickerson
a job is my thoughts on this. Hunter Dickerson, wasn't he at Michigan with like
Yeah. He went to the title
Lavelle
game.
Blanchard and I don't know. What wasn't he there with like Jamal Crawford and
Well, there's one thing you need to remember. This could be an April Fool's joke.
It
Oh,
might
that
be.
is
I
correct.
mean, he was on CBS Sports. I saw like the day after Kansas lost, he was on CBS Sports talk as an analyst for college basketball. But if this is true, which it may be, it may not be, it wouldn't surprise me. We've had 7th, 8th, 9th year players. You know, Sean. Everybody's got to become a doctor nowadays.
Of course.
So,
Well, I mean, I think if you get prescribed Advil for a headache, which I mean, I don't need to be prescribed Advil, but if you show up at the training table and say like you have the sniffles, I think that qualifies for a medical red shirt these days.
Mhm.
right. Also, if you were a JUCO player at one point, you'll get
Right.
a red shirt as well.
Well, yeah.
So,
Thank you, Diego Pavia.
right.
Go
Yeah,
Diego.
the Cesar Chavez of of college athletes here.
Well,
No,
that's
I'm
the
not
reason
just making that.
they-
What was it?
I was going to say there's a reason they say "Go Diego, go."
Yep.
Go Diego,
That was a very
go.
obscure reference nobody got. That was a very obscure reference.
Yeah, I did not get that.
I remember
You know
it
Dora
from
the Explorer?
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
The other show with Diego.
I might be overage for that reference. I don't know. I did
I
not
didn't know
really
if you
watch
had any
Dora.
kids or anything, Sean.
Well, yeah.
I just
Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
I know I assumed you had a child or maybe a niece or nephew or cousin.
Oh yeah.
or-
Oh, I'm very aware of Dora the Explorer, but I have not like ever watched an episode and paid attention.
Well, they have somebody. Her cousin is Diego, and he has his own
Okay.
show.
Oh, cool.
I keep thinking about
Because,
like Amazing World of Gumball, like that one episode where they're like babysitting Anais, where they're just like walking her on a leash. Like Austin, I think you know what I'm talking about.
I think I might do. It's been a minute.
Yeah, but it was funny. Where it's like
Oh yes, Tim.
Tim gets it.
swipe or no swiping, swipe. Or
Yep,
no.
yep. Dora the Explorer. Yep. My niece used to watch it all the time. Would drive me freaking off a wall. But anywho.
Oh man.
Well, that's part of life, Austin. You got to sit there and just shut up and pretend you're enjoying it.
Daryl, listen. The one thing I can cover myself in is knowing that Louisville will always be better than Kentucky in all sports and all facets.
Oh yeah, that's exactly why you are on like a 10-year losing streak in all major sports. That's
No. You see, Daryl. See, we're
it's okay
we're
to be
not,
second.
we're dominating
Hey, little
baseball.
You just lost to us last year and the year before that.
Dang it, he's got me. Okay.
Yep, got you there, dude.
We even beat you in softball. I watch all the Kentucky Louisville. You can't. None of that stuff can slide past me. None of that stuff can slide past me, Austin.
Here's the thing, Daryl. As a good, we both can admit we don't like Duke, though, right? We both can admit that.
Yes, absolutely. We all hate Duke.
Okay, good. We'll even throw Jackson in here, especially. I don't know about Sean, how Ohio feels about Duke.
I mean, listen, like one of my best internet buddies is a doctor who graduated from Duke and is a huge Duke fan. So I'm a little partial to the Devils here.
Okay, well, Sean,
I'm going to trust that doctor. I don't know what that doctor's up to. We might have to investigate that doctor. We might have to get Bobby Kennedy Jr. on the case.
I'm not going to that doctor.
Okay, come on, yeah. Look him up. His name is Rhino on X. Who doesn't trust a doctor name? Who doesn't trust a doctor named Rhino?
Rhino? Okay, Sean. I listen.
Austin, I think that's a political joke that you didn't get. I think that's
no. It is. It is actually not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It has nothing to do with politics.
Yeah. Well,
it really is not.
Darrell, what else we got going on in your world this week?
The final thing I was wanting to rail about, just real quick, is I think I'm going to comment about this. Why is everything still about realignment when we know for sure nothing is going to happen in realignment? I'm tired of seeing, SMU is positioning themselves for realignment. UNC is ahead of the pack. None of this is happening until like 2030 at the minimum. Why are we talking about this 5 years in advance?
This this right now is like the second round of a heavyweight boxing fight, though, right? It's just it's all about setting up. It's all about the setups right now.
We got to set up for 5 years. We got to talk.
Yeah, that is. It's like the big heavyweight boxing fight. You know, nothing's going to happen until the 9th round, so you have to find something to talk about in the second, third round.
I mean, we could talk about literally anything, and we're on. Oh my gosh, SMU may have done this thing, and UNC's positioning itself to go to this conference or this conference, which we've known for 4 years now. Yeah. It's like, good. You know what I would rather watch than I'm actually watching is this Crown basketball and irrelevant basketball. I would rather people talk about that than conference expansion.
The Crown.
Well, Daryl, that's where Kentucky's going to be next year because they're going to be in obscurity.
Wow, that was a burn. That was a good burn right there.
No, it's more impactful from somebody who actually can beat us. So, Austin, if we're in the crown, then you're just at home.
Hey, Daryl, I have to ask.
So you have a lot of people to talk to in the SEC that can beat you, then, right? A lot of
No, we're near the top.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, we beat Tennessee twice. We
yeah.
beat who did we beat? We beat South Carolina. We lost to Arkansas. We're average in the SEC. We finished, I think, 10-10, 11-9, 9-10, somewhere around there.
Wow! That's big Kentucky pride right there.
I know. Hey, listen,
Adolph Rupp must be must be lighting a cigar somewhere. We finished 11-9 in the conference.
Hey, listen, man. We didn't lose to St. Peter's or Oakland. I'll take it. We made the Sweet 16. We held her seed line.
We don't got no embarrassments on our record, Daryl. I can't speak for you, but Louisville, we take pride in who we play, and we don't lose to the St. Peter's and of those worlds. Because
I know you only lose.
Wait! No, St. Peter's. What about the Oakland Golden Grizzlies?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
that has produced such distinguished alumni as yours truly.
One of them down here at the bottom.
Right here.
We gotta get. We're gonna get Turnett. Yeah, we gotta get Turnett's caller. But before we get to him, Darrell, what have you got going on this week, man?
Well, I guess I'll be talking about this crown tournament because it's actual sports fun. I don't know why they created this or why it exists, but it's something, I guess. So,
Well, I promise you, Darrell, Will and I will talk a little bit about the crown on Wednesday afternoon. I give you my honest word.
Well, there have actually been better games than March Madness, which is kind of sad to say, but they have been. I'll be talking about college baseball, talking about the downfall of Texas A&M, preseason number 1, just the Florida State of college baseball, Texas A&M. Supposed to be really good, supposed to win it all, in contention. Absolute joke.
They don't even wear their school colors, Daryl. Not to cut you off, they don't even wear their school colors. What's wrong with them?
Yeah, I know. I mean, they were projected to be like a super team, a team that can win literally every game. And they're 1-8 in the SEC. They lost to New Mexico State once. I mean, they've just been atrocious. So it's been fun making fun of those people and making fun, and Virginia and Duke and some other these atrocious college baseball schools. So I'll be tweeting about that as well.
There you go.
I could tell Sean has absolutely no idea what I'm talking about.
No,
Darrell.
I zoned out 10 minutes ago.
Oh man, we got
it's fine.
College baseball. Wow,
we gotta get you on Instagram net, Darrell. We gotta get you hooked on that.
Man, I don't take too many pictures. I mean, sometimes when I go to the ballpark, or
you don't need the pictures. You got the iconic D logo, man. Like you're good to go.
Well, I gotta Instagram is a place where you take pictures. So if I don't have any pictures, nobody will care.
You won't need pictures. Especially when you got a voice college football following, man. So there you go. So you're good to go. Like we got you back. We got you back.
Well, I grew up in Big Ten country. I don't think the Big Ten has a single team in the top 25 in college baseball. Is it like Oregon? USC, Oregon?
No, Oregon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We don't do that shit here. So,
but Darrell, we'll definitely be seeing you soon, like this week, and we look forward to discussing a little bit about college basketball and all the other stuff with you, good buddy. If we don't see you Wednesday, we'll definitely see you Thursday on the Alabama Call-In Show.
I'll be looking forward to calling in and talking about Auburn disrespect on the Will and Dean Jackson show.
Oh man. We'll get the trash talk Tennessee together, good buddy. We'll have to keep it at a 10-minute minimum on the Alabama Call-In Show.
10 minimum?
Gotta get Jeffrey to bed. That's why.
Minimum or maximum?
See, here's
10-minute maximum. My mistake. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing about Jeffrey, Sean, and Daryl. Before you go, see, Jackson's got to keep him on a bedtime because he's got a girlfriend and he's got to go to school, and the girlfriend, he gets upset. She gets upset when
No,
Jeffrey,
wait. No. That was a Freudian slip that I think you let something out there.
she gets upset when Jeffrey doesn't give it is awake and attentive. So we're grown adults here. Me and Jackson, we hang out after dark.
Yep.
I thought Jeffrey was on like some sort of probation schedule.
Nah.
Yeah,
he just needs his sleep, because he's like working a lot during the day, and it's like, so we gotta keep him.
His girlfriend's very.
We don't
very,
want him up at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Then he's gonna lose his voice. So we're gonna make sure he gets to bed on time. So that's why I appreciate it, Tim. I appreciate it, good buddy. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, come on in and check out the USC Call-In Show on the LAFB network. Yep. Well, all righty, Darrell. We will definitely be seeing you soon, good buddy. And then we will be turning to Sean. Then we will get to our next caller. See you, Darrell. Good night and sleep well. And Sean, we get to you next. What have you got going on in your world, good buddy?
Dude, I am recovering from the season change, from a couple I had maybe the two best vacations of my life recently, and they were like back to back. So went to Phoenix for about 4 or 5 days there, and flew back. Flew back to Michigan and flew out to Philly the next day. Saw the wrestling championship. Was in the same building as the president for a moment, and yeah, those 2 trips were amazing. And yeah, it's kind of been a come down ever since, especially since I haven't felt good at all since I came back. But little rundown, so mostly probably be on the down low for most of the rest of the week.
All right. Yeah, and be sure to give Sean Garner a follow on X/Twitter and on Blue Sky, where
Jason asks a very good question. I tried 4 different cheesesteaks. I went to Pat's and Geno's. Those were both mediocre at best. And but Angelo's. Yes. Go to Philly. Angelo's.
Oh, that's what Adam Lamparello likes. He likes Angelo's.
Yes. It is. Yeah, I mean they put a lot of time into it, and there's usually a pretty long line. So plan ahead if you go to Angelo's in Philly for a cheesesteak.
All right, man. Yep. Well, let's get Sean a bunch of followers on X/Twitter and give him a bunch of followers on Blue Sky, because he's got some great takes on the sports world and other takes as well. So we'll be definitely seeing you soon, good buddy.
All right.
Get to feeling better.
Take care.
You too. And we have our Nets caller. He is a tremendous supporter, and he is a go-to on Ohio State athletics. And he's one of the smartest guys you'll ever talk to. The one and only Thomas Hero. How you doing tonight, good buddy?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. How you doing tonight? Sorry we got to you a little late.
Oh, no, it's okay. I came in a little late. I was pretty worn out today, and took a long nap after dinner, and then started doing random stuff. And usually I'm in YouTube mode watching, you guys or somebody at that time of night, but I was a little slow getting to it. But luckily you're on late, so worked out all right.
Yep. And Hummets, I'm glad you're here, because there was some breaking news involving your Bengals a couple of days back, in which I'm about ready to pull it up right here for you. I want to get your thoughts on, because I don't know how they're doing it, but I would really like to know from your perspective. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, both got big contract extensions, both staying in Cincinnati. what's the deal here, Hummus?
Well, I mean, I think it's great because you like to have stability, and obviously they want to hold on to Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow wanted to keep it. I think that Joe Burrow might be restructuring his deal a little bit. Is that maybe what's going on to maybe kind of free up some cap space so that they can sign some more defensive players and hopefully do well in the draft to make things work, because that's a lot of money on receivers. Like we've seen it time and time again where teams will let one or two good receivers go because there is kind of a wealth of receiver talent typically available. So I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I mean, I love T. Higgins and he's a solid player, but I just kind of wonder if you couldn't have got a rookie who would have been on that three-year deal, the rookie contract, where you don't have to pay near as much and the production.
Yeah,
If you
sometimes
struck.
Not to cut you off, Hummus. Sometimes it's 4, 5, depending on. I've seen rookies do 5 years, but most of the time it's 3 to 4.
Yeah. So we'll see how it works out. I mean, I like having T back, like I said, because I knew they were going to get it done with Chase because, I mean, Chase is indispensable. Like if you have a Jamar Chase, you got to hold on to him. But then T Higgins is very solid. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just wondering if they maybe could have got, somebody like our guy Emeka in the end of the first round. You never know; he might not be around, but he could have potentially been around. And there's just typically a lot of good receivers there, so I don't know.
Well, and the kind of thing I see it as, Hummus, too, it's like Justin Jefferson with the Vikings. A lot of people thought that the Vikings were just going to let him walk out the door because he was fed up, and a lot of people thought that with Chase too. Like a lot of people were thinking, oh, he's going to walk. The Bengals can't pay him. There goes another receiver. Because kind of like AJ Green, the Bengals ended up, they ended up trading him, I think, but they ended up paying him first. Do you think that's the same fate that's going to happen with either one of these, where you paid AJ Green but then had to trade him to Arizona? Or are they going to be able to play out their contracts, hopefully?
I mean, I guess that's a potential thing, but I don't know. It doesn't seem extremely likely to me, just because, like I said, I think Burrow really wanted him back. So it could happen, but I don't know. Hopefully, Burrow's just willing to restructure his deal. I mean, these guys all have enough money. Like if getting a Super Bowl ring is more important to Joe than getting like a maximum contract deal or getting paid as much as he can, that is, then he needs to restructure his deal and kind of take a little pay cut so that they can afford some. Because I mean, it's great on the offensive side of the ball; they're going to be stacked, but you got to have a defense too. You know what I mean? So they got to sign. They got to be able to retain the players that are doing well and sign some free agents too in the coming year. So we'll see.
Well, and the thing too is, I think Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, when both healthy, is one of the best wide receiver quarterback duos. That's never been the issue in Cincinnati. It's the O-line and the defense has been very suspect. I remember the game this past year against the Giants where they held the Giants to, I believe it was 10 points, and everyone thought that was a big accomplishment, when in all actuality it was the Giants were just that bad. And it's just like, if you get Burrow some offensive line help, imagine, the stats that he had this year. If they get some O-line help, Burrow might be able to not only win MVP, but he might be able to take them the whole way. Heck, he almost won the whole thing without an O-line in 2021.
Yeah, well, the offensive line was better. It regressed a little bit this past year, but it was a little bit better in 2022, and it was probably even a little bit better than that in 2023. So they had done a good job. Like Karras was he was a good pickup when they got him, and I think that they get Orlando Brown Jr. They got a good couple good pickups. But I mean, I agree. You can never have a good enough offensive line, especially when you want to have the passing attack that the Bengals do. So you got to have pass protection. It's important, and a good pass blocking running back too. So and they lost Mixon, and Mixon was good with that. So
Well, the thing too is, Hummus and Jackson, I've never experienced a really that bad of an O-line as a Cowboys fan, because that was one thing that we always have had, a great offensive line. So for me, this past couple years, having our offensive line be deteriorated, it's kind of a new situation. Whereas for you, the Titans and the Bengals down there, like, now I understand what you all are going through. Like, I'm like, man, now I understand what the Bears, what the Giants, what the Bengals, what the Titans feel like now. Like, an O-line, like, because that's just one thing we've always done great is draft O-linemen, and they've always been our strong point. No matter what you think of our owner, he's always done that well. Draft O-linemen good.
yeah,
But
the Cowboys always seem to. That's a good point.
Yes. And that's the thing too, Hummus. Now I'm starting to understand now what you went through and what Jackson went through with Derrick Henry. How Dak is not having any O-line help. He has no time. I'm starting to understand it now.
The Bears were the worst, man. Because I'm not a Bears fan, but I'm a huge Justin Fields fan. So I was watching a lot of Bears games when the Bears had Justin Fields, and my goodness, and he was just, and he's a mobile quarterback too. You know what I mean? He would break free quite often, and he's not an easy guy to pull down, and very good scrambler. And I can't remember, but I think he was sacked either first or second most in the league, like both years that he was there in Chicago. Well, he was there 3, but the both years that he was like the full-time starter. So,
and Sean asked real quick, Hummus. He said, "What does Hummus think about letting Jesse Bates walk?" I'll say this, Hummus: you let a good one walk out the door. I know business decisions have to be made, but the Falcons got them a good one.
Yeah, no, it's not good. Once again, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just kind of wonder about. I mean, it's professional sports. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, these guys are demanding these contracts and stuff, but it is what it is. And in some ways, like I said, I hate to be like this because it sounds bad as a fan, but in some ways, I think they should have probably let Higgins walk. I just don't know if you can pay this much to 2 wide receivers. You know what I mean? It sucks, but like, I just don't know if you can do it. I don't know if it's a realistic way to get back to the Super Bowl. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, if Burrow restructures his deal.
And Hummus says, not Hummus, wrong person. Jason Hole, my apologies. I just want Justin Fields to bring some normalcy to the Jets. Hopefully they can just run the offense, an effective offense, no dumb gimmicks. I will say this, and Hummus can attest to this, you're probably going to be running a lot of read options with Fields, because I believe they did that at Ohio State too, right, Hummus?
I mean, honestly, not a tremendous amount, but I mean, yeah, there's some of that, and he can definitely do that. It's just the Ohio State offense under Ryan Day has never been super heavy in that. Like, it exists in the offense, but it's not like everybody thought that when Will Howard came from Kansas State, because Kansas State's that's kind of like one of their bread and butter type deals, and they thought, oh, they're going to be doing. They actually didn't do it near as much as you might have thought, and it's just because it's not how they run the offense. But,
yeah. Well, Jason, you mentioned about the Jets having some normalcy. I feel like as long as the Jets have Woody Johnson as their owner and whoever else on that general manager staff, you're never going to see good things happen. Unfortunately, you're not going to see the Jets take over anything from the Bills. I mean, like, the good time will be like if we see like the Bills losing key stars here and there everywhere. And like the Dolphins, things haven't really worked out like they thought it would. I know, but Woody Johnson's the owner. And
Yeah,
Here-
I don't know.
he's the one responsible for making the bad hires or not giving his hires enough chances, like not giving the general manager enough chances. And obviously,
I know the Jets haven't been the greatest franchise recently, well, really ever, but I just like to see Justin succeed. I think he's such a good guy, and he's a great teammate. Anybody who's ever played with the guy just loves him, and he's a
Mhm.
good leader. And I think he's more talented than what I think he's kind of got the. He's been dealt a bad hand in the NFL. I mean, he went to Chicago, which is an organization, and that's why funny we're talking about it because saying the Jets like kind of similar to the Bears, where they typically don't make the correct decisions, I guess, when it comes to how they run the franchise. So hopefully it's just not more of the same for Justin. Hopefully he can have cohesion with the coaching staff and
Well,
really get a chance, and I think
well,
that Jets really want to give him that chance. So that's a good thing at least.
agreed. And I really hope Aaron Glenn does well at the Jets. I really
I do
do.
too.
Because it's like you do have a good chance to get in second place in the AFC East if things go your way. Because I mean that's like what you want is like to really make sure you're the Kings over the Dolphins. I mean, like the Dolphins again, they're just gonna continue making life crappy for Tua Tagovailoa. Like always.
I'll be pulling for the Jets as long as they're not playing the Bengals, which I don't think they're going to be playing the Bengals. Maybe they play, but any other game I'll be pulling for. My brother's actually a Jets fan. He moved to New York. Moved to New York right out of graduate school, and he's lived there. He's lived there for goodness over 20 years now, and he's a Jets fan. So he's going to be excited to have Justin as a quarterback. It's going to be cool to see Justin and Garrett Wilson back playing together again too.
Well, and that's the way I am, Hummus. Like I root for the Ravens for Lamar Jackson. Like that's my thing. Like if the Cowboys don't win a Super Bowl, I pull for the Ravens because I want to see
Mhm.
Lamar. Louisville connection, obviously. But when they're playing the Cowboys, I'm sorry, I love Lamar, but I cannot root against my team.
Right. That's the
Kind of
way
like
I am. That's the way
The
I am.
Commanders, like good things have happened to them since like Dan Schneider has been gone from the building, like getting Josh Harris. I mean, if the Jets can find a Josh Harris of their own to be the next owner, I think you're really going to see things turn around quick.
We'll see. But yeah. But hey, one of the reasons why I was calling in, I wanted to clarify. I wasn't actually joking, and I wasn't trying to bag on the South or Kentucky when I was talking about that internet thing. Like that's just the truth. Is like if you live in a major metro and you have fiber optic, like the buffering on internet and that stuff hasn't been a thing. Like ever since we got fiber optic lines, like. And it's not expensive either. It's not like I'm paying like a premium. It's just reality. Like
That-
for like 40 bucks or whatever, you can get the low end fiber optic, and it's literally like twice as fast. It's literally like twice as fast as cable. So
Well, that's okay,
I
Hamish.
wasn't making a joke. DeReal thought I was like trying to bag on Kentucky or something like that. But there's always drawbacks. If you live in a bigger city, you also got to deal with the threat of being carjacked and air pollution and all that kind of stuff. So, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, Hamish, I mean, we've known you for a good amount of years. Like, we know you're good to go, man. You're no worries, man. So
yeah, I
you're
wasn't
good.
bagging on DeReal. I kind of wanted to talk to him because some of the stuff that he was saying, that was the end of it. But when he's talking about the Peacock, what I was trying to get through to him was that like it's the same thing, just on a different scale with cable TV. Like with Peacock, don't get me wrong, they're making you pay for one subscription service to watch a handful of games, and it's like $8 or $9 or whatever it is. But the reality is, for a person like me, and probably for you guys and DeReal, when you pay for cable, you're paying for a handful of channels, and they make you pay for 100 channels. And the reality is all you want is those few channels. So it's really no different. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, Hummus, I'm gonna put Darrell's Ets account in the private chat. So like, if you want to talk to him like sometime the next day, you can, man.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I was just saying that. I was just saying, I was kind of defending it because I recognized that a while back that it, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I like it. And the one thing I definitely I'm not saying I like it the way that it is, but I never liked that cable made me do that either. Like, I literally just want ESPN, FS1, SEC, Big Ten Network. Like, that's all I want. You know what I mean? And then, I mean, I'm a little bit older, so I remember the days where cable was relatively cheap and hell, FS1 didn't even exist back then. Literally the only thing that you wanted it for was ESPN, ESPN2, and every other game that you could watch was on broadcast TV. And we even got like the stuff that would be on like the Big Ten Network now or Peacock or ESPN Plus. We had that stuff in syndication on something called ESPN Plus. So or ESPN, what was it called? I can't remember. It was first it was Raycom. First it was Raycom. And then it was I can't remember. It was like ESPN had their own little syndication thing at the beginning of the 90s, and you would get the lower tier games for free on like one of your local affiliates, whoever had it in syndication. So for us it was like Channel 10.
Yeah, that's
you'd see that. So like, you know, don't get me wrong. What Darrell's saying isn't falling on deaf ears. I'm just saying, like, you wanna blame something, you got to be consistent. Like, you also got to blame the huge cable bill when you're not really wanting all of that stuff. So,
true.
Well,
I don't know. It's the world we live in. Like you guys were saying, capitalism. It's got its good things and its bad things. You know what I mean? Like, we get you for things on trying to make a buck off of you. So.
Well, that's the thing too. Like now, it's the thing is like the Pac-12 network. You know, some people had it, some people didn't. I was one of the fortunate ones. 'Cause, like I said, I had Dish Network. The Pac-12 was included in the cable package when I bought it. Because I just wanted ESPN, ESPN2. Like I didn't care about the SC network and all that, but they threw it in there because it was part of the package. And people were talking about how the Pac-12 network was unreachable. Well, now with a lot of these streaming services, like you said, if you can afford it, it's great because you can watch what, like you said, it has its perks, but it also has its downfall, like anything else.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the affordability thing is there. So basically, what it is it's on top of it. So they've already got you hooked in where you got to pay for YouTube TV or Fubo or your regular old-fashioned cable to get like the 5, 6 channels that we're talking about. And then on top of that, now you got to pay for Amazon Prime to get Thursday Night NFL, and you got to pay for Peacock to get Big Ten. You know, and more will end up happening too. Like Netflix will get it. Everybody will get their hand in it. You know, luckily with Paramount, they do the streaming, but all of their stuff is available on CBS over the air. So as long as you have a good antenna, and that's another thing that I was pointing out to Darrell is that actually with the Big Ten, the majority of the good games, the majority of the quality games that you want to watch, they are free. You know what I mean? Because SEC has the contract with ESPN, so like probably 50% or more of their games you have to pay for. Now he can look at it the way that he thinks, and I'm just paying for cable, but you're paying a lot more for that. Like if you're say you were just strictly a Ohio State fan or a Big Ten fan, like the reality is that there's only a couple games that you're going to have to pay for a year because the majority of the games are on broadcast TV. They're on NBC, Fox, or CBS. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, and some people refuse to do it. They're like, I'm not paying for Peacock. I'm not paying for the bad games that are on the Big Ten network if you're Ohio State. Now, if you're like a Purdue fan or something like that,
that's dedication.
Networks, they don't want as many of your games. So Purdue probably ends up playing like a couple games on Peacock maybe, and maybe like 3 or 4 on Big Ten Network. I'm not sure exactly how it goes. I know that every team in the Big Ten's required to play 1 game on Peacock and 2 games on Big Ten Network. So those are the only 3 games that I'd have to worry about. So most of the year, this is the thing, like what Daryl's saying, I can sign up for Sling TV usually and get, if those 2 games happen to fall at the beginning of the year, which a lot of the times they do, in theory, I can get both of the Big Ten Network games for Ohio State for 1 month of Sling and then cancel it. And you could do the same thing for the Peacock game when it's on. So you're looking at like $50 to watch 3 Ohio State games throughout the year. And the rest of it's going to be on broadcast. Whereas if you're a fan of Kentucky and 5 of their games are on the SEC network or ESPN, you're going to be paying for 2 or 3 months of cable. You know what I mean? So it's actually cheaper. It's actually cheaper, but I don't know. And especially if you're Notre Dame.
Well, the thing too is, Hummus, what irritates me about it is I don't mind the Peacock, because the Peacock is where you put the games that no one wants to watch, right? Like, the thing about it too is Purdue Ohio State was on Big Noon Kickoff. And even you as an Ohio State fan would agree that that was not a Big Noon Kickoff game, but it was because the schedule was so sloppy.
Oh, no, it's ridiculous. And don't even get me started on Big Noon Kickoff. I don't like it to begin with. I've had it with Big Noon Kickoff.
And here's the thing, and this is nothing against your team or Purdue, but it's like you all were up 49-0. And I'm like, really? And Gus Johnson and Joe Clapp were trying their best to sum up interest. But it's one of the things where I wish Hummus and Jackson, where they could just switch it like they do with the NFL, where they'll be like, okay, this game's a blowout. Let's switch it to UCLA Penn State, who's in a 10-point game with 5 minutes to go. Even though Penn State's up 10, there's still a chance UCLA can come back.
That's a great idea.
Like they do at the NFL. Or better yet, put Purdue and Ohio State on the Peacock. And it's just like, because I feel so bad like for Gus Johnson, because he's trying to act enthusiastic. But even him, he was like, when Jack Sawyer scooped and scored, he was like, Ohio State touchdown. Normally he gets excited and it's a stupid score. Touchdown. Ohio State, they're back in it. Yeah. And with that game, he was just like, touchdown.
I'm hearing Gus.
Yeah, I remember that exact play that you were talking about. It was almost like he was being non-enthusiastic on purpose. Like, I can't believe I'm calling this game. Like, why are we watching this? But I agree. And Big Noon in general, I don't like it. That's the one thing, once again, like, I mean, I know money's what makes the college athletics go, but like, you know, I just don't like it that Fox has to put all their games and they control the majority of the good games, because as a fan, I'm not saying I hate the noon games, but I want to see Ohio State play more primetime games. And that's the biggest thing that I miss. That's the biggest thing that I miss from the Big Ten not having the contract with ABC, ESPN anymore, is that we used to get really quality nighttime games. And now basically the only time you see it is if we're going to be playing on the West Coast, or if we're playing like Notre Dame on the road or something like that. You know what I mean? And the contract's going to be, you know, with somebody else that's not Fox. So it's annoying to me.
Crazy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Hummus, but the only regular season nighttime game y'all played was against Oregon, correct?
Yeah, and the only reason that wasn't a Fox game, probably, well, there's like a drawing, not a drawing, like a Fox gets to select first most weeks, I think. But the main reason why that one was an NBC game is simple. It's because they can't put that one on Big Noon. Like, you're never going to see Oregon games at home on Big Noon, because they'd be 9 a.m. local time. So you'll see that regularly. So when one of the biggest games of the week for the Big Ten is out west, if it's USC, Washington, Oregon, UCLA, probably not with UCLA.
Ohio State, USC, those type games.
whenever it's going to be those type of games, and they are West Coast games, you're going to see those games on CBS and NBC, because they're not going to do that to the fans, and they're not going to put those games at 9 a.m. local time.
Well,
That's the one good thing. That's the one saving grace for a few of the games, at least with the big noon. Save us from big noon, NBC.
well,
Here
that's
come to save the day.
here's the thing, because let me be honest with you, Hummus. What I would like, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I would love to see Ohio State and Michigan play a night game. I know it's been tradition that's been noon, but I would love to see that be a 7:30 Eastern kickoff on NBC. Just to see Ann Arbor at night or Ohio Stadium filled at night.
Yeah,
I would love to.
I wouldn't mind it. I don't think the game's ever been played at night, but it's actually not. It wasn't actually always traditional to play it at noon, though. See, that's what people think, but it wasn't. The game used to be played at 3:30. Also, it hasn't been played at 3:30 for a while, but like up until the mid 2000s, it was sometimes played at 3:30. So,
Well, that's
it's
the
been
thing.
traditional recently to play it at noon every year, though.
Well, another thing I miss is the SEC night games when they used to play Bama LSU at night on CBS. I always thought that was a treat. Or when they played Georgia Bama at night. Or I wish they would do that with the Big Ten a little more. Like if Ohio State plays Iowa at night, go to Kinnick, and I know they'll never do that, like you said, Hummus, because the big noon kickoff gets the first crack at it, and they're probably going to take it regardless, unless, like you said, it's one of the West Coasters, UCLA, SC, Washington. Then you might have a chance. But like, I wish they would do that for CBS. Like, let them go play at night.
True.
Yeah, or if there's just a week that ends up having two games that are like equally as good, you know what I mean? So that'll happen sometimes too, or you'll end up just from the scheduling. They probably try to prevent it honestly because they want to space out their like marquee games like week to week. So when they go to schedule, they probably but like eventually you'll see it happen. You'll have like USC and Penn State the same day as Ohio State and Oregon, or you know. You'll have something like that happen, and you'll end up with one of them that isn't on Big Noon. So,
If I remember correctly, and Jackson, you correct me, didn't we have that situation this year where the week Ohio State Oregon played? What was the other big game that they had before that?
Well, they had another one. I forget, but
that might have been the week of the USC Penn State game.
Yeah, USC Penn State was on CBS. That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
3:30.
USC fell short against Minnesota a week before. But then they almost upset Penn State. So good grief.
And those games are going to be big draws too. But the thing that we got to realize when we talk about that, like I said, like with the Ohio State Purdue situation, is Ohio State, it doesn't matter who they're playing. They're going to draw the eyeballs, and that's what the TV execs are going to promote and they want the ratings. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if Ohio State's playing Bishop Ready Academy here, a high school team in Columbus. If they play Bishop Ready versus Ohio State, they're going to get all the eyeballs, and they're going to put it on Big Noon.
Well, and that's the thing too, Hummus. I'll say this is one thing that I miss is the thing with the Big Ten and the SEC, right? Is the thing. The thing is, like you said, they look for ratings, right? Like they had Ohio State Akron on the 3:30 window. I believe it was last year. Yeah, that was last year, I believe. No, that was this year. My bad. That was this year. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, why is this the 3:30 game? Nobody cares that Ohio State's going to win this game other than to see their new look offense. Then after that, it's just going to be, and this is no offense to any Ohio State fans, but that's just what I was thinking. I'm like, other than to see the new offense and how they're going to fare, this game's going to get ugly quick.
And even Ohio State fans, like, we want to watch the Ohio State game, of course, every week, regardless of who they're playing. But like, if it's one of those games, you want to watch it casually. So like, you want to watch the marquee game at the best time of day, and for most people, that's at night. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and the other side of it, it's also like kind of a sword that cuts both ways too, or I don't know, or whatever analogy you'd want to use, but it's like you get the bad games at night. So like a couple years ago, we played Toledo at night in the Horseshoe, and it's like this is
Yeah.
our only night game of the year, and we're playing Toledo. It's like, what's going on
Michigan
here?
did it with Purdue last year.
True.
Well, that's not quite as bad as Toledo,
And
but it's close though. I mean, I guess it's not that much different, but
I mean, is Toledo better than Purdue? Nah, let's not entertain that tonight.
well, no, actually, I think Toledo is better than Purdue, but I'm just saying,
True.
like when you think about it, like Purdue's a Big Ten team, and some years they are pretty good, and Toledo's consistently generally one of the better teams in the MAC. So like when Toledo's at their ceiling and Purdue's at their floor, Toledo's actually going to be better than Purdue most of the time. And I think in the past couple of years they probably have been, or at least last year. But
That's another story for another day.
True.
I want to ask you
Oh,
this, this Hummus, before we go. Let me ask you this: do you think going forward, Hummus, do you think college football is in a healthy spot? Like just a general question, or do you think we're in a spot where the realignment and stuff are, after what we saw, are we in a healthy spot in your opinion?
I mean, I think that it is what it is with the becoming kind of a semi-professional type of setup. I mean, it is what it is. If you hate that, then like it's not healthy for you. But I mean, I think it's okay. And also, I guess it depends on who you're a fan of. Like I feel bad for the little guys that get squeezed out, especially like your Washington State and Oregon State and schools like that lost their seat at the Power Four table or whatever it is. So like it's not healthy for them. Is it healthy for Ohio State and Notre Dame and Alabama? Yeah. It's healthy for our fan bases, but you do kind of worry about it because part of what made college football so fun was the diversity and the pageantry and all of the different geographic regions that had their own flair. And as a kid, I loved just seeing all of the different teams. The NFL, I had all those little, you guys probably maybe don't even remember them, but when I was a kid, you could get them for a quarter out of the gumball machine, and they were, you guys probably don't even really remember gumball machines. You've probably seen it on TV, but
I've seen them in person.
well, Jackson, well, I guess you guys aren't that young, but at any rate, when I was a kid, out of the gumball machine for a quarter, you could get the little NFL helmets. They were collectible, and you'd be sticking a quarter.
Yeah.
Every time your mom would take you to the store, you'd be, can I have a quarter, Mom? Can I have a quarter? And you'd be trying to collect all of the NFL teams, and then you get them all, and it's like, well, now I have them all. There's only 30 teams, or however many teams there were back then. But with college football, you couldn't collect the helmets. But with college football, it was always so cool as a kid because it was like there's so many teams, you know what I mean, and so much stuff can happen, and the little guy David can slay Goliath anytime you know it. You know what I mean? And is some of that going to probably go away if we move to like more of a Super League type setup? Yeah, it is. And that sucks to see because it's part of what made the sport fun, in my opinion. So I don't know. I guess that's kind of a question that has multiple answers, I guess, depending on exactly what factors you're looking at.
Well, and like Jason says, he says, I don't think CFP is that healthy. The things that made the sport interesting are going away. Everyone isn't a fan of a huge school. Agreed. And like for college basketball, I've kind of gotten to the, like, I love college football, I love college basketball, but I'm starting to prefer college basketball over the football. For the simple fact is, Auburn can lose at any time, whereas Ohio State, there's only 3 realistic teams that could beat them every year: Penn State, Michigan, Oregon, maybe Washington on a really good year. Other than that, Ohio State's not going to lose until they play one of them teams. That's where I'm kind of at with it.
Yeah, but that's really that's not something new, though. I mean,
That's true.
something. That's
You're
not
used to
something
winning.
That's not something new. It's always been the way with the teams that are at the top of the sport that there's very few times that they lose. I mean, like for context, we talk about like David getting the better of Goliath. Like Ohio State has the longest streak of any major conference team against what we would call G5 or G6 or whatever. The last time Ohio State lost to one was Air Force. And I want to say that was in the 1991 Liberty Bowl. So it's literally been that long since like a true David beat Ohio State's Goliath. Like, and that's abnormal. Don't get me wrong. I think Texas is the second longest, and theirs is pretty long too. I think they lost to somebody in like 95 or 96. But at any rate, that I don't think that has changed so much at the top of the sport. But in the middle, it will. You know what I mean? So you're going to see your whoever you would consider to be like second tier type teams, like a Auburn or a Washington or somebody like that, and they're still going to have a lot more money. So it's going to be less likely that a lower tier team can even beat them. You know what I mean? And we're going to arrive at the point probably where you have more of an NFL type setup. You know what I mean? You have these 40 or 50 teams that are just so much better than the other ones remaining, and that will be something different. You know what I mean? It always really was the case. Like everybody likes to poke at Ohio State's record against the SEC, like in the past, however many times they've played SEC teams that they've lost. But the reality is that almost every one of those SEC teams that Ohio State lost to was like really, really good. You know what I mean? They weren't playing Vandy and Kentucky. They were playing like Alabama and Georgia and, Tennessee or whoever it might have been, like all the way going back to the mid 90s. Like it was either always playing them in a BCS game or a national championship or the Citrus Bowl at minimum or something like that. It was never like you're playing like the 8th best team in the conference. So like that really hasn't changed that much. It's still going to be your Alabamas that can slay Ohio State and vice versa and stuff like that. So I'd like to see it.
Well, the last thing I'll say, Hummus, is I remember the year you all beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, and people thought that was a major accomplishment. They were like, "Oh, Ohio State finally got one over." And it's like, when you think about it, you're on the same talent level. And like you said, people that mock Ohio State, here's the thing. I've always had respect for the Buckeyes for one simple reason is because they're at the point where they could line up against a Georgia tomorrow or a Bama or Texas and beat them. That's how good you all are.
Yeah. Well, also the thing about the Ohio State and SEC record, people like to bring up history and they don't actually like to pay attention to like current and more recent history. And like Ohio State doesn't even have a losing record against the SEC. I don't think in the last 6 games, I want to say they're like 3-3. You know what I mean? So it's like it's actually not even relevant. And I think that would include Missouri too, which I think everybody can agree that's kind of a laughable one actually, because it was that game was not a fair fight with rosters being complete. Like it was literally like Ohio State's second and third team offense for the most part playing against Missouri, who had very few opt-outs. So
that game, that ticked me off because not because your players sit out or nothing, because that's normal. What ticked me off is that was a really good Missouri team, and they didn't get a chance to prove it. They beat your second stringers, like you said. That's what ticks me off.
Yeah, that's a good point, Austin. That's an annoying thing that people sometimes overlook about the whole opt-out in the bowl game thing, is that also it discredits the other team from a win. Like, of course, you're going to look at the team that had the 100 opt-outs and be like, oh, you didn't really beat them. But the team that did beat them, it discredits their win. And it's like, well, maybe we would have beat them anyways. You know what I mean? So, but that's one of those you'll never know deals, I guess.
And here's the thing, USC beat.
That's another That's another thing. That's one thing that I will say I think is healthier about college football moving forward, definitely with the 12-team playoff, and if it expands further, is that at least some of that goes away. Like we didn't have to see the New Year's Six games this past season with the hundreds of opt-outs across the board throughout the games. Like we were spared that. Everybody who would have been in the New Year's Six, all of their players played in the CFP, right? So that was a
Yeah.
bonus.
Yes. And the thing I'll say too is about it is the fact is then if you look at the players that had the opt outs and beat the team with the full team, so to speak, like if Ohio State had won that game, everyone would have been like, "Oh, silly Missouri! They thought they could compete." It's a double standard. It's like, which is it? Is it silly Missouri or oh, that was a fluke? Wait till we get a full team and we play you. Which is it? You can't have it both ways, guys.
It's,
Either
I
it
mean,
was either it was
yeah,
a legitimate win or it wasn't. Make up your mind.
it's hard to say. I mean, Missouri was a solid team, so you never know. You never know what would have happened. But I mean, I think that game it was painful to watch as an Ohio State fan. But I think
Yeah, that
that
was
game, I think it wasn't just the Ohio State not having McCord and Harrison, which was huge. It was the backup quarterback who was already going to be inexperienced. I don't know if you remember exactly what happened, but Devin Brown, he went down at like the end of the first quarter, and he was already struggling a bit. But then it was down to the third string quarterback. And anytime
that
you're
was
in a game with
pitiful.
third string true freshman, so anytime you're, he was running the scout team for the majority of the year and only getting backup reps leading up to the game. So like, I don't know. I think that Ohio State was
I
lucky
felt
that the
pity for you
defense
all.
kept them in. Ohio State was lucky that the defense kept them in that game, honestly, because it could have been ugly. The defense was really good that year too. So the defense people.
That was the thing about that game too. You look at it and you see 21-3 and you think, "Oh, this was a good defensive game." No, Ohio State's defense kept Missouri's offense in check. Ohio State's offense was just dog crap. No offense, Hummus, no offense, but
No, no,
anybody that
it's
watched that game knew that.
oh, it was a disaster. It was a disaster. It was one of the most forget. Ironically, it should be one of the most forgettable Buckeye games of my lifetime, but I remember how it played out pretty well. It was like
I mean,
6-3 at the end of the game, I think, or 7-3 or something, real late, and we were still in it all the way at like midway into the fourth quarter.
yeah. Then I
So,
think
and then
Burton broke off a
the defense finally got gas because you leave them on the field that long, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Like eventually
Yep.
the dam's gonna break, so to speak, right?
Wasn't it Luther Burton who scored the touchdown that broke it open?
I think so. Yeah, and that's why we were talking about Luther. I was talking about Luther Burden with you a little bit in the chat because I watched him specifically in that game, and he's an impressive receiver. That's what I was saying. And then you were saying you thought he was a little bit smaller than he was, and I actually did too. But he measured at 6 foot at the combine and what did I say, 206. So he's
Yeah.
actually he's a relatively average sized receiver, maybe a little shorter, but he's kind of thickly built, and yeah, I think that part of what it is that he's so shifty and he's so
Mm-hmm.
quick. He
Tyreek
has that
Hill like.
kind of quick jolt, quick first step off of the line, and when you see him, you're thinking like this guy can't be. He almost reminds you of the movement of like a Santana Moss or somebody like that, who's
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the last thing I'll say is I remember that pass. It was a slant, and normally teams don't bite on slants. They've gotten good about that, but for whatever, like you said, it might have been fatigue. He literally Brady Cook threw the ball, hit him right on the numbers, and I was like, okay, he's gonna get the first, but he's dead to right. And then he shifts on a dime and spins the other way, and he's gone. And I'm like, that's not like Ohio State. And then as you said, now looking back at it, kind of it's probably fatigue is what got him there. Because normally y'all are a pretty good tackling team. You have been under Urban, under Day. Like I know Michigan fans will say, "Oh, you don't tackle against us," but that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
there you go. Well, Hummus, what else have you got on your mind tonight, man?
Not a whole lot. Well, I did have some. I did have some breaking news that's happening in my life. Actually, we talk about Ohio State. I'm actually. I've actually received an offer and accepted it. This is going to sound crazy, but I've received an offer and accepted it to move to Ann Arbor and be on the University of Michigan horticultural team. And we're going to. I'm actually going to be working on the grounds at Michigan Stadium, planting flowers around. Planting flowers around.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to be moving to. I'm going to be moving to Ann Arbor, and I'm going to. They even sent me a University of Michigan license plate, and I have that. It's got the little Wolverine on it, and I've got that on the
Oh
back.
boy.
I've got that on the back of my truck, and I'm actually considering painting my truck maize and blue. You know, I mean, like, why not? What do you guys think?
Okay, Hummus.
Pretty
Listen,
cool, man. Congrats.
listen. Congrats on the new job, Hummus. But man, please tell me the Buckeye fan in you is dying inside.
No, I mean, it's great, but you do realize what the date is, don't you?
Oh crap! Hummus got us. Crap. I
Yeah.
fell for it.
I was thinking you'd figure it out, Austin.
Well, he sounded so convincing too, because that sounded legit. Like there are them people out there that do that. Like they got it, like for all universities, because I've seen them on my way to work going by the Louisville football stadium. I'll see them out there in the mornings doing
I
the
thought
grass.
I could get you at the first, but I laid it on thick when I said that they sent me the license plate and I was going to paint my truck.
Darn it.
Yeah, that's the first half. I won't lie.
Oh, you had Jackson too. Okay, I don't feel so bad.
Until I said the license plate, and then Jackson was like, "Wait a second, it's April 1st now."
That's a good one, Hummus. That's a good one. Okay, I'll have to remember that.
There you go.
Oh yeah, but no, that's not going to be happening.
Okay. The rivalry is not dead. Thank you. Rivalries are not dead. Not yet.
It's never gonna be dead.
You'd sooner see me. What does Jackson always say? I'd be with Miss Kitty at the Long Branch. I'd have a better chance of that, right?
Yep. That's what I say.
But Hummus, we appreciate you calling in as always. Good buddy. We'll be back. We'll be back next week for sure with new topics, and of course Jackson's got his stuff, and I've got my stuff. But we always appreciate you, Hummus. Very supportive, and go Buckeyes, just for you, buddy.
And I just want to tell you before you go, thank you for the support you've given us, good buddy, and for being, and not just for being like one of the main subscribers on my channel where I'm now 560 subs, but for being a great supporter of Austin as well. We thank you so much for the support.
We thank you, Hummus.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys make great content, and you're good friends, and I always appreciate it. And thanks for having me on.
You're welcome, Hummus. You're always welcome. You got a spot here.
All right. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.
See you next time.
Jackson. Then there was two.
Huh?
But Jackson, before we get to promoting Alabama and all that, let me take a time, Jackson. Let's promote you first tonight.
All right.
I know you're a working man. You love Crimson Tide Live, and that's great. But Jackson, we need to recognize your accomplishment.
Well, and I'm doing my part and looking for some candidates for other teams for Voice College Football as well.
Hold on, Jackson. Let's celebrate you first, good buddy. I understand your work. That's what I love about you. But we need to celebrate you, good buddy. Celebrate your accomplishment. 500 subscribers, the big milestone. You're closer to monetization or at monetization. Very proud of you, good buddy. From the first day I met you, I always knew you'd get here. And I'm just glad to be a part of the journey, good buddy.
Well, and I appreciate it, man. It's I'm up late at nights just making sure I'm working, just coming up with ideas here and there. And the latest episode of the Jack Sign, and I decided, you know what? It's like I'm gonna take a little chance, put in a little something that can help me get some more subs, because like I now got 500 subs thanks to you guys that have been supportive of me, and now the next milestone is 1,000 subs, and I got that the latest 2 episodes of the Jacksonian. The latest one with Ruby Dreyer Finley from Ole Miss Live at the Voice of College Football and the production coordinator of College Game Day. And I can tell you right now, it was so much fun discussing our take on Ole Miss, how she got into sports media, how she became an Ole Miss fan, how she got into College Game Day, as a matter of fact. And we even covered our take on Troy Taylor getting fired in real time while we were pre-recording. So that was the funniest part. It's just funny though, where it's just like, oh my God. But in all seriousness though, it was a fun episode. And I can tell you right now, 35 episodes away from 100. Who should I have on for the next 35 episodes of the Jacksonian? You decide. And I will see that I can reach out to him. I will make sure of that.
And if you're not an Ole Miss fan or you don't really care for people at ESPN, Jackson's got plenty more great content for you on his YouTube channel. Take it away, Jack.
And I featured and so far I featured so many guests like Steve Hellwagon, Matt Zimick, and Parker Thune, Jay Smith from Locked On Sooners. I mean, I've got a plethora of Locked On people on there, and
so if you're not a fan of one person, Jackson's got plenty more. It's like a DVD store. If you don't like this DVD, guess what? You don't have to watch it. You can go over here and watch it because any views help, and all help Jackson. Look at that poor face. How do you not want to help him?
I appreciate it, man. And of course, for more updates on what I've got going on the Jacksonian and Alabama with the Voice College Football, check them out on Jackson VOCFB on X/Twitter and on Instagram and Threads at JacksonJohnson543908 and on Blue Sky on Jackson Johnson 97, where I not only put out my updates on the Jacksonian and on Alabama with the Voice College Football, but my weekly appearances on the Paul Feinbaum Show, where the weekends are full of surprises.
And Jackson, now we can promote your Voice of College Football Alabama show.
I can tell you this. We talked a little bit about spring practice. We've been talking about the quarterback battle again. Did Ty Simpson win the quarterback battle? Is Ty Simpson the winner? Who's really the villain behind Jeremy Pruitt's downfall? It's a fat man that was running Tennessee in the 90s and the 2000s. And let's just say he was a complete jerk. Who was that man? Tune in.
Mm-hmm. Now.
There you go. Austin, what have you got going on, good buddy?
So this week on my channel, looking into it, hopefully it happens, but me and Only Talk Sports, Jeffrey, are planning on doing a mini tournament recap and Final Four national title predictions hopefully this week.
Or at least they'll try to.
At least we'll try to, yes. Hopefully looking forward to it. At least we'll try to. And obviously, me and Jackson will be back again, especially if there's some breaking news that we need to cover. We try to do this once a week, considering, and the more y'all keep calling in, the more we'll keep coming back. We'll come back 7 days a week if y'all keep calling in. Now, listen, that will get tiring after a while, but that's what I've got forward on my channel. Obviously, my Twitter/X. Talk a little bit about everything, but that's what I've got going on and other live streams. But as always, thank you, Darrell. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Hummus. Thank you for making past the mic part of your nightly routine. And we'll hopefully be back next week, and hopefully we have some more news to break or something. But make sure to like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bells. It helps out the algorithm. And me and Jackson will see you all very, very soon.
Take
care. Go
care,
Cards,
man.
everybody.
Roll Tide. Take care now here.